Loudoun County Sirens. Lizzie here. Krysta is at GalaxyCon and she might be popping in later to give us an update. I do have some updates that she posted a few little tidbits, but we're hoping to see her, but we're not sure. But our main guest is Dan Kelly from the Codex Station, and he is here to talk about his own art, as well as what we always talk about, our favorite female characters and writers and artists. I figure we'll also talk about some pop culture stuff, some stuff that you guys touched on Saturday night, or Sunny touched on Wednesday night. I'm a huge fan of the Codex Station, and I feel really blessed that you guys have given me so much support, and you are my third Codex guest. So awesome. And welcome, Dan. Tell people who don't know you from Codex, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Dan. I like long walks on the beach and driving my Mazda Miata. No, I don't have a Mazda Miata. I don't want to walk on the beach if you get all sandy.
All right.
No, I'm Dan. You catch me on the Codex Station 2 to 3 nights a week. I do the Thursday shows, which is rotates between comic character of the week, comic creator of the week, and a top 10 list. And this coming Thursday, we're doing a top 10 list that's top 10 law enforcement characters. And Sal's brother, who is retired FBI, is going to be a guest on with us. So
I'm
that'll be fun.
so looking forward to that. My dad was 19 plus years in the FBI, so I'm I always used to joke, we used to go to hockey games when I lived in Washington. We were local supporters of the youth league, and they had a guns and hoses, police versus firefighters, and I was always on the law enforcement side. Grew up in a law enforcement home, so I'm looking forward to and I have some top 10 picks. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that show a lot.
Yeah, that's why I like the top 10 stuff. We don't really, the character of the week we were doing every week. And then recently, for anyone that doesn't know, Jamie, who started the station, it was his idea to start the station, but he started it with Sunny, and they started just with the podcast and then expanded into other shows. He left the station, hiatus. He may be back at some point. He just was going through other stuff in life and was burned out, needed to step away. So me and Sal took over kind of running everything. And one of the things that we talked about, or that Gary and Sal talked about for a while, and I'll be honest, I was against it at first, was instead of doing comic character of the week every week, as the name implies, they wanted to do it like every other week. And at first I said, no, that's not really character of the week then. But then at the holidays, we took off a couple weeks because it was Christmas and a New Year's. And it was, I forget which character it was that we had as our next pick, but it was one that I hadn't, I knew the character, I'd read them, but I still had to do a lot of reading, to pick my stuff. And I found oh man, it's nice having this extra time. So I kind of came around with them and said, yeah, let's do it every other week, because, it may not seem like it, but when we're picking, our favorite moments and our favorite, our recommended reading, we actually go through and not just read all the stuff that's on our recommended reading, but we read a ton of other stuff too, so that we could, so it's all right, here's three, parts that I, recommended that might be a 1-issue story, it might be a 6-issue story, it might be a long or 12-issue run. So we're not just, each of us not just reading that, but we're reading a bunch of other stuff to narrow it down for that. And it just,
I remember the amount of research that I had to do when I was on for the Catwoman show. I spent literally the whole week researching and making sure that I had my readings, had read, because I had picked out 6, and then go through these 6 and narrow it down to 3, but also touch on like for those moments, for me, it was like, oh, I almost have to do it per series because there was, you could pick out one in every different run,
Yeah.
So yeah, I know exactly. And I couldn't even imagine doing that on a weekly basis. That would be exhausting after a while.
It
I do
is.
hope Jamie does come back. Jamie, if you're watching, I do hope that he does come back because he's
I think it
missed.
will at some point.
Yeah.
You
But I totally understand needing a hiatus. I have done that several times in my life, just kind of had to step back from everything that I was doing to just kind of recharge my batteries and refocus to what matters and then go back to the other stuff.
But yeah, because honestly, you could just go on Google and be like, "Oh, we're doing Black Canary this week. Let me go." Or actually, the next character we're doing in 2 weeks is we're doing Elektra.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
I could just go on and, well, if you want, you could come on the episode. Gary's not going to be able to be on that week, so
I actually do. I don't feel like I know enough about her to make a good contribution. I think she's a good character, but she's not someone I've done a whole lot of reading about. So I feel like I wouldn't be able to contribute enough.
well,
So
you got 2 weeks to bone up
thank
if you want. But
you.
yeah, so yeah, I could easily just go on Google and type in or this other. I started using this other search engine now too, called like Ecosia, because they go and plant trees and stuff.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, I could go on a search engine, just type in best Electra stories, and then just pick three, and then read a description and say what it is. But that feels cheap and inauthentic to me. Like, I want to actually read the story, because sometimes I'll look at at things that people have recommended, and I'll say, I don't know, I don't get why they recommended this. I didn't like this at all. And I'll have another storyline that I like that I don't see on any lists. And I'm like, well, I don't know why this isn't on any list. I love this story. I'm going to put it on my reading. So, I have to personally, I know the other guys too, read all the stuff to be able to talk about it. And so, yeah, so we're doing that every other week. And then we're alternating between a top 10 list, which is fun because all you do is just pick your picks for the top 10, pick a picture you like, and then
the
doing
audience can really take part in that too, which is nice.
Yeah, that's what I love too. That's why I like to announce them in advance. Like, hey, jump in the chat, let it, put your picks in alongside ours. And then we're
doing it.
Yeah, and then we're doing a comic creator of the week, alternating weeks too. We only did one episode so far on Jack Kirby, and then the next one in a couple weeks is going to be on Stan Lee.
Okay.
And then, like you said, on Saturday nights, I'm on that night too. We do the pulls where we just show off all the pulls we got that week, any recent back issues we picked up. Gary does a showcase for his, picks something out of his ridiculously huge comic collection that we all.
I watched, I most of the time I watch on Sunday mornings, and I didn't put it in one of the comments that I left this morning, but you and I were the ones that picked Satana, because as soon as he said Hocus Pocus, I was like, Satana.
Yeah,
when he said that, be Adam Strange or Dr. Fate, I seriously thought he would have used a different word, because even if it had been her dad, right? Even if it had been Zatar, they're much more of that when you stage magician, actual magic versus the things that Dr. Fate and Adam Strange do,
Yeah, my initial, when he said Hocus Pocus, initially I was like, all right, so it's going to be some mystical sorcery character. My initial thought was Doctor Strange. And then I thought about it for a second. I went, no, it's going to be Zatanna, because even though Doctor Strange and Dr. Fate will, use their spells, where they'll say spells too, sometimes they're not saying spells, it's just hand movements and stuff.
Exactly.
Whereas Zatanna, it is 100% of the time her saying something, even though she says it backwards. And like you said, the stage magician thing too. So I was pretty confident in that. I was like, it's
and it was great to see some of those covers. I left the comment, the number 2 cover that he showed, she was in an outfit with like pants and boots and a short cut jacket, And
Oh
it's
yeah.
very reminiscent of how they drew her in Absolute Wonder Woman recently. And I thought they had to have been doing an homage to that when because they said they made her look more, punk goth than she
Yeah.
normally does. And I was like, when I saw that, I was like, wow, they must have based it off of that outfit, going back to, all the way back to that. So I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Um,
And then this coming week too, on Wednesday nights, that's when Sunny does the podcast, which is kind of the all-encompassing thing. We'll talk about the recent news. We'll do a right or wrong, or someone we'll have
I
five
like his
statements.
right or wrong. That's one of my favorite. And when he has
Yeah.
Sal on, when they do the which
Oh,
one's
the
slabbed.
flab thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And what else do we? The F list, where he'll pick some super lame character and we'll make fun of them and put them on the F list. And a bunch of segments, a random panel of the week, and stuff. So we all rotate, being his co-host on there because we don't want to leave Sonny to his own devices.
Yeah.
But it's going to be me on with him.
This coming Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's always fun. And I do like that he changes the show just slightly depending on which one of you is hosting with him. So
It is fun when Gary and Mike are on there because they just antagonize him.
yeah.
Sometimes he just a little flustered, like not angry flustered, but like, or he's like, I don't know what to say now, kind of flustered.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to point out your hey Richard, good to see you.
What's up, Richard?
Great to see you. Thank you for watching. I love your rack. So who do we have there? We got
who
do we got there?
Of Courtney Whitmore.
Okay.
We have got not first appearance Power Girl because I don't have that. I'd love to, but we got the Power Girl #1 with the Adam Hughes variant.
Yeah, I love his art so much.
Oh, me too. And then Justin Palmiotti and Amanda Connor are going to be back at Baltimore this year, so I think I'm going to take that one to get them to sign that. And then we got the first appearance of Black Cat.
Ooh!
Now this is one I bought this raw and got it slabbed myself.
The Amazing Spider-Man. What's that number?
Oh, it's 194. You see, it's a 6.5. It's not a high grade, but
I have a couple of 3s and 3.5s on my wall that are my Silver Age, and so I completely understand.
I always, the guys, know I always have the saying, better low grade than no grade. So I'm happy to have it. When I got this book, it was a few years ago. It was right after my mom died, actually, and because she died during COVID, and after she passed, we're making all the arrangements and stuff. She had a little bit of life insurance policy, so nothing huge, but me and my brother did get a little bit of money for each of us, and I'll say that the Christmas gifts I got for family that year were a step above what you would normally get. And those angel trees, the kid I got for the angel tree that year, that kid got a ton of shit. But it was also about a month or two before Comic-Con, so I went there and I did do a little retail therapy, and thanks Richard. It's it was years ago, but I don't make a lot of money at my job. So if somebody out there has a high paying job they want to give me, let me know.
Hey, I'm on disability, so I completely understand. Come on in, buddy. You can fit through the door. Come on.
So I went there, and I always talk myself out of buying big money books.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there and I was like, I've got the money. I'm going to get something. And I was seriously considering buying a Hulk 181. And I almost did, but then I was like, well, let me walk around the let me walk around some more. And I did end up buying about a long box full of dollar books.
Okay.
Like I still want to get something. I walked around and I ultimately had the money to get that, and I still talked myself out of pulling the trigger on it. But I was like, I still want to get a first appearance. So the vendor had this, had the Spider-Man here with the Black Cat one.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that, and very very happy with it because I like Spider-Man, collect Amazing Spider-Man. I like
Right.
Black Cat. It's her first appearance. It's a 6.5, but it is, it presents.
It looks in pretty darn good shape.
The back of it, it's it's a little yellowed and stuff there, and excuse me, you can see some ticks and stuff, but overall, like it's it's a nice looking book, and so I got that, and it was a good price, and I sent it to get slabbed myself, though I don't have a lot of slabs. I got about 20 of them, but I sent that one just for
more than me.
And it says, and then it's interesting. I didn't know it, but maybe it was, maybe it was a reason that I picked this one. Now it says on here that the release date was July 1979.
Okay.
But as we know, back in the day, for a long time, the comic companies would always date their books a few months in advance. So
they still do.
Well, if you look at the like the where is it, the yeah, some of them still do. Like if you look at the fine print there, like this one DC book is listed as May 2026, even though it's March. Some of them still. Hey, what's up, Mr. Keith? Some of them.
It's Happy Sunday.
Yeah, some of them still do list it a couple months in advance. Some of them I see do list it for the month it actually comes out. But the reason they would do that is because there weren't really comic shops in. There were newsstands. So they would want the date to be a couple months in advance so that it would stay on the newsstand longer.
Yes.
So even though this says July 1979, it didn't come out then. It actually came out in April 1979, which is the month and year that I was born. April 1979. So I didn't know that at the time. So, I kind of, didn't learn that until a while later. So,
I have a couple like that came out my birth year, but no, I don't think I have any that actually came out in January of '68. So,
So that's a nice, I feel like that's a nice, that was a nice.
I need to read it, Keith. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I haven't read it either. I will confess, I know that you are. I am not a huge Tom King fan. I've met him in person a couple of times. He's very, very nice. But as far as his writing, I'm not a huge fan.
I really enjoy his writing. I will say, though, that he is a acquired taste. Do you know what I mean? He's one of those writers that you either really like him or you don't like him. There's really very few people that are kind of like, he's all right.
I really enjoyed his Batman run for the first half up to issue, was it 50, when Catwoman left
him on the roof. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's messed up. And it wasn't because of that, but I didn't really care for the rest of his run after. Like, he killed Alfred, which pissed me off. And I just feel like the rest of the run wasn't that great. And then he ended it with that Batman Catwoman series. And I read it, but again, I was like, I didn't feel like it was that great. I read the Vision series he did. Didn't care for that. Rorschach, I haven't
read that.
I thought it was so boring. It was so slow moving. It's like, taking an 8-issue story and stretching it out to 12 issues. The Adam Strange series he did, I absolutely hated that. And at this point, I'm just like, I'm not, I can't. And Gary and the guys have read other stuff and said, oh, this is good. This is good. I did read a couple issues of the current Wonder Woman series, and the one where she took Batman to like solve this murder. Mm-hmm. I did like that, but overall, I'm not a huge fan.
You're not a huge fan, right?
But again, he's, I like some of the stuff, and he is a super nice guy from when I've met him too.
Yeah. Yeah. I am upset that he didn't just let them get married, especially when he married him off in Batman Catwoman. I mean, I get that DC. I read this forum, Reddit forum about it, and that Jim Lee took part in, and they want Gotham to be Bruce's one true love, right? And so that even and the whole point of Tom King's not having them get married is, and I thought, especially if you read the quote unquote 7.5, the preludes to the wedding that was all about the Joker.
Yeah.
And in that, the Joker tells Selina, you marry him and he's never going to be the same. You're never going to be the same. I'm never going to be the same. It's going to change everything.
Right? That is right. And I also think too, they play up so much with Batman that if he's married to Catwoman, they have teased this relationship,
They can't do any of that.
Like a will they, won't they, not just with her, but with Zatanna, with Talia, with
exactly
random, whoever,
yes,
whatever random new character or writer
uses Bruce Wayne.
Yes,
Bruce, or I should say Batman, uses Bruce Wayne to hide the fact that Gotham is and keeping Gotham safe is always going to be his first true love. That's why he's a playboy, at least how I read it, right? That's why he's a playboy. That's why he bounces between all these women. That works for Batman. Batman has a use for Talia, for Zatanna, for Catwoman, for Diana, when because for a while he before well, he's flirted and kind of kissed a couple times. Wonder Woman, Diana Prince. He's had a will they or won't they with Black Canary, but that enables him to build on these relationships to be able to use and utilize these women in their other capacities. So, and I think that if he marries Selina or Talia or anyone else, he loses that edge, right? Because, Bruce uses Batman to avenge his parents, keep Gotham safe, blah, blah, blah. But Batman also uses Bruce.
Well, a lot of superheroes, you look at it like the Flash. Barry Allen or Wally West is the Flash. That's who they are, and then the Flash is the Mask. Clark Kent is Clark Kent, and Superman is the Mask. For all these characters, it's who they are, and then there's the mask. With Batman, Batman is who he is, and Bruce Wayne is the mask.
The mask, exactly.
Yeah, so, he's really Batman, and just uses Bruce Wayne as as the mask for that. So if he does get married and does have that level of happiness, then Batman starts becoming more of the mask, and Bruce Wayne starts becoming more of the identity.
And people think I'm crazy, but I really sometimes compare Batman to Angel, Buffy.
Oh yeah.
Buffy versus Angel. There is something to be said that if Bruce finds true happiness, Batman dies, right? Because Batman is rooted in trauma, right? We all know he's rooted in the death of his parents, but then there was more trauma as he went on that solidified him into the Batman that we all know and love, right?
So yeah, the way they would have to do
Angel, if he has that moment of true happiness,
yeah,
his soul goes poof, and he becomes this monster again, right? So I think that there is a very similar, what's the word I'm looking for, comparison between that they Bruce really can't be happy. And then I do think that for the writers, you brought up a very good point. There's this wealth of women that Bruce gets to bounce around, and the writers, the individual writers who write his comics, um, leaving that gallery wide open rather than marrying him off,
Well,
right?
and also being able to have Bruce Wayne as the as the playboy too. Yeah,
I
college
would love to take that class, Richard, really.
shit. I could teach that class. But also the way to do it would be you have him get married, you have him be married for not for a couple of years, not comic time a couple of years, but real time a couple of years, say
Right,
probably 2 years,
right.
so that he starts getting happy, and then you kill off his wife,
Whoever his wife is.
and then
Yeah.
it adds that other level of trauma onto it and just pushes him so much more away from Bruce Wayne into Batman.
I also think that there is a
But that would be kind of, what do they call it? What's the term? The fridging
yes,
after, which
Bridget.
which
Um,
I don't really care for that. The whole idea of, oh well, the women just being used as props for to advance the story of male characters. Like, well, yeah,
too
there's
many
that.
women now have their own titles for that to be.
Well, it's not just that, but yeah, that happens. But it's also happens on the other side where you have male characters that are just there. Like Steve Trevor being
Mhm.
killed for Wonder Woman, where
He's,
you have the
yep.
male character that's being killed to push forward the narrative for the female. I don't think it's a male female thing. I think it's a main character, secondary character thing. So if the main character is a male, then the secondary character is either going to be wife, girlfriend, brother, sister, boyfriend, whatever. And if
Mhm.
it's a female character, it's going to be the same thing on
Husband,
here. It's whoever
sibling,
the
right?
yeah,
It's going to be the same thing.
it's
Husband,
whoever the
wife,
secondary
sibling,
character is.
whatever. I am looking forward to the Wonder War, which started in this new issue. I don't know if you got. Did you? I can't remember if you got the. I'm trying to remember. I was watching, but I also was listening and walking around. Did you get at Wonder Woman this week?
I did not. I
Okay,
saw it on TikTok.
I didn't think you did. Um, this new arc for the Wonder War was very good. Um,
Good
and
for them.
it brings to your point though that they need um that side character, right? That secondary character, Steve Trevor, right? And in the Sirens right now, Ollie Queen is kind of that. Like
Yeah, I heard you guys
Black
talking about
Canary is
that.
doing her thing with the Sirens, and she doesn't want him to even bother. Hi, Pam.
Oh, Pam's here. We could talk about
Yay.
sports.
I am so lacking in knowledge, in sports knowledge, other than my Seahawks won the Super Bowl. So woohoo!
And then Kenneth Walker, what did he get? 161 yards rushing,
Yeah,
got the MVP of the Super Bowl, and then promptly the Seahawks decided we're not going to re-sign you. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go sign with Kansas City then. Like,
yeah.
good job, Seattle.
Well, then maybe Kansas City will do good next year. So I don't know, but yes, back to it's just it's funny because I think Superman and Lois have been married and they're fine.
Peter
But I guess
Parker and
they're
Mary Jane
different
were.
characters though, because Superman doesn't have that basis in trauma. He actually, out of all of the superheroes, probably had the most normal upbringing.
Peter Parker and Mary Jane were married until
Yes.
Joe Quesada decided to ruin that.
Yeah.
I want to get Joe Quesada's autograph. I want to see him in person and get him to autograph get him to. Richard says, "Boo, Casey." I want to get him to autograph that issue of Spider-Man and just write on there, "I'm sorry, Spidey." I want to interview him, ask him, be like, "Why do you hate Spider-Man being happy? Why do
I
you hate
know.
this
I
man?
think it comes back with the same thing, though, because Spider-Man is a character rooted in trauma, right? Well, yes, he became Spider-Man because he got bit by a spider, right? Or, but who Spider-Man is as a hero was formed based on the death of Uncle Ben.
Yeah. The
And
death that he
so
could have
again,
easily
rooted in
prevented.
trauma. So I think that's where the difference is. The characters that had normal upbringings are allowed to have happy, normal relationships. The ones rooted in trauma, like maybe they don't think it's realistic that they are, I don't know, that they can be happy. Maybe that's it. Maybe they don't think you can be happy if you're everything about you is rooted in trauma.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. That's an argument for a psychology course, right? But I think that's short sighted.
Zeb Wells is the same thing. Just because Wells is divorced, he wants Spider-Man to be also. Well, if I lost what Zeb Wells had, I'd be pretty depressed too.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
But yeah, because I read that it was his idea to have Deadpool and Vanessa broken up in the new Deadpool movie, which, yes, Zeb Wells hates happiness, which is annoying because you could have had Deadpool and Vanessa together in that movie, and it would have
Not changed the
and
movie.
it would have not
Made it
changed the
better.
story. It would have not changed the story in any way because he still would have been doing everything he did to try and save his reality.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely 100%. I completely agree. In fact, I think he would have been even more invested.
Yeah.
Um, so should we move on to, I know you did yours just last night, but I still have my
Hey, I still got my
Wednesday.
stack of books right
Okay,
here ready to go.
cool. We're gonna let you go first because you're the guest. I'm gonna give you the big slot here. There we go. There you go. There you go. And I really want to thank you again for sharing this stream on Codex and all of
Oh,
you
of course.
Codex viewers that are out there tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in to our second stream on our official Loco Sirens channel. So we are quite excited about that, not having to do it on personal Facebooks anymore.
So,
all right, show us what you got.
all right, so I got the stack of new stuff here. I'll start with DC because that's what's on top of the stack. I got, as I said last night, Jeffrey Epstein's favorite character, Deathstroke, the Terminator #1. If you know, you know. I decided that since DC is doing this, what is it called, Next Level?
Next level,
Since they're starting all these new books, I decided, regardless of how much interest I have in the actual character, we don't have to move on so we can continue complaining. I will continue to complain about Quesada
at any given opportunity, right, Dan?
until they put Peter and Mary Jane back together.
No, I agree. I mean, and I think God, there's so much story potential with her with the Venom symbiote right now.
That's yeah. I talked to Sal about that. I was like, I said, yeah, it was funny how when Liz asked you to break it down, and I saw you going through all this and this happened, you didn't like it, but you did like it. Said if she would have asked me, so what's going on with this, I would have said, yeah, so the Venom symbiote's attached to Mary Jane now, and that's pretty stupid. It's about on the same level of stupidity as the jackpot thing, but
I'm kind of glad she doesn't have the jackpot thing anymore. Although the one foreshot that they did with Black Cat, where they both use it, was a great little mini series, and her powers were very effective for that story. Also in Dark Web.
Well, I also had mentioned this to Sal too, because I know he brought up the thing on the show last week with you about how Mary Jane helped Peter make the black suit because he had to go into the sewer, and she's like, you got to destroy it afterwards, and she had this trauma from from the when Venom first appeared and kind of terrorize her. But I said, you also got to remember though, since they did one more, or since since they did one more day, and they essentially retconned the past few decades of characters Wolverine dudes. Yeah, but since they essentially retconned the past couple decades real time of Spider-Man stories by getting rid of Peter and Mary Jane's marriage, so they were never married. So would that stuff with Venom have even happened with Mary Jane then? Because they wouldn't have been married. So who knows if they were, I guess they could have been together as boyfriend and girlfriend at that time. I stopped reading Spider-Man after one more day. It pissed me off so much. I didn't start reading again and even now I will occasionally pick up a Spider-Man issue, but not regularly, because I'm still so mad about it. So that whole trauma with Venom that happened then, did that even still happen?
Right.
So, but yeah. So anyways, I decided to pick up all the new DC issue ones.
Have you read it yet?
I've read everything that I got.
Did you like it? I did not
like it.
So
I did like it. The art was good. The writing was good. I did not expect the ending of it, so I have already put in to get the next couple issues because I want to see, at least for the first storyline,
the first arc,
the first arc, I want to see where it goes. But I did, I did enjoy that.
Okay.
And I got the sketch cover variant for it.
Nice.
I have so many.
Talk about some of your sketch covers that you gave me when we're done with our comics. So.
Okay. So I got so many blank sketch covers. I got a bunch that I've drawn on. I got a ton that I haven't done anything yet on, because I would just see and be like, oh, this is interesting, and I would get it without having an idea for it. So now for me to get a sketch cover, I either have to have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do, or it has to be something that just offers so many possibilities that when I really thought about it, I wouldn't have a hard time. Like if it's an Action Comics sketch cover, like, all right, how hard is it going to be to draw Superman? Or if it's, a Batman book, how hard is it going to be to do a Batman on it? So,
right.
Generic stuff like that. All right, Richard, it's in the stack. You can you put earmuffs on because it's the next one up. But I do have a pretty good idea what I want to do on this. I saved whenever I see pictures online of like cosplay or statues or action figures, or just like I'll just follow, like there's some models and cosplayers and stuff I follow like on Twitter and Instagram, just because if I see a pose, I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. I'll say that'll be a cool drawing. I'll save it. So there's a Deathstroke statue I saw a picture of years ago that I saved the picture of, that I thought, oh, that'll be fun to draw. So I'll probably do that on this one.
Oh, cool.
I know Richard hates it, but I got low. Yeah, boo.
Yeah.
I got this. I enjoyed it. So I'll pick the next couple issues up. And again, I also got the sketch cover. So
okay.
So on this, I'm either going to just draw his head real big, kind of like that one Simon Bisley cover from the 90s where he drew it, or I was thinking about drawing that where that still image of Jason Momoa when they revealed him in the Supergirl trailer as Lobo.
Yes.
I was thinking about drawing that on there.
Either one would be good.
I got Batwoman #1.
Okay.
I didn't really dig this one that much. Greg Rucka was writing it, so I had high hopes, but I just really hated the artwork in it. I just couldn't get past that. I didn't
get it because they've had the little intros in the back of some of the DC books, and it was the art. I was like, I know I like Greg Rucka, but I can't. The art was just so I didn't.
Yeah. But I said I was going to pick up the first issue of each one to give it a chance. But the artwork on this, and it's the same artist that does the cover. And while the cover I think looks really good, it doesn't translate that well into
the panels.
Actual book.
Yeah.
And I did not get the sketch cover for this because at first I didn't have a good idea of what I would do.
Okay.
Because because Batwoman's not a character like some characters like Zatanna or Power Girl, something like, oh, you just draw like a sexy pose on them, or or for Power Girl you just draw a pose where she's like flexing, or like She-Hulk flexing. I was like, that's not the flexing pose. I don't think would work for her character. The sexy kind of pose that doesn't. I don't think that would work for Batwoman. That's not who it is. So I couldn't really think of a good pose to do. And then I did think of one, but it was after the final order cutoff, and my shop didn't order any of the blank sketch covers just to have on the rack. So by the time, so unfortunately, by the time I figured out what I would do on it, it was too late to order the cover.
I think that Comic Logic has. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I can look on Wednesday if Comic Logic has one.
Yeah, if you could, because
Rob's usually pretty good about getting, the sketch covers of the big.
Yeah, he does have a good backstop.
So so I'll take a look and let you know if they have it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because
if they do, I can grab it and throw it in when I send you back.
Oh well, I'm sure you'll see me. I'll be down there when they have LotCon.
Are you doing LotCon? Excellent. Yeah, I'm hoping I volunteer, so I will definitely
actually got a table for Codex there.
Ooh, cool. Nice. My daughter-in-law vendors there as well. So
nice.
Yeah. Are you gonna bring your daughter? You brought her to the Halloween one. She looks so cute as the popcorn.
Oh yeah. She got a lot of compliments on that costume for all the places we took her.
Yeah. Okay, what do you got next?
The new Titans 33. So I guess they're going to be going in a new direction with this.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I hope. I'll be honest. I haven't really. I do like. It's interesting what they've been doing with Tara. I do like Spoiler.
Yeah.
I haven't really read that much of. I can't even remember her name, like the Brazilian Wonder Woman. So. So I can't. I don't know much about her, honestly.
But I know what you're talking about. For
John,
I had to let my dog in.
For John Kent, I think they ruined his character when they aged him up, and the Super Sons were such a cool book, and I think that they denied the character the chance to organically grow up alongside Damian, the way that we used to have Tim and Connor.
But that's been kind of retconned now.
Yeah, I don't think that'll last.
I'm really hoping it does, because now they've got him and Damian basically, in the whole Wonder Woman anyway, and Trinity, they're basically the same age. John Kent might be a couple years older than Damian, but not that much. And they, in the new Wonder Woman, I guess it's, so spoiler alert, people, let me see if I can pull it out here, just because they've been talking about it online for a couple of days. They establish the new Trinity of the future, which is Batman, which is Damian as Batman, John as Superman, and Trinity as Wonder Woman. So I don't know, because they did make everything that's happening in the Wonder Woman canon according to the new DC thing that came out last year. So, and they're really close in age for that whole thing.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know that they're doing this Reign of the Superboy thing now. They're in one of the books. They're like de-aging him back to being a kid. I really don't think that that's going to last very long, and it's because, talking to the guys that that works at my shop, who has talked to other people, that the reason that they can't, and talking to some writers, that have worked on the character before they did this. The reason that I don't think that they will keep him de-aged is because not only did they age him up, but they, had him come out that he's gay. And now that he is essentially, I don't know if they establish like a firm age for him, but I think it's like late teens, like 18, 19, somewhere around there. Because they did that and they, revealed that he's gay, they can't, he's all, the term that was used was he's like a gay icon now. I don't know if that's the case, but I know that they can't take that character and then put him back into preteen adolescence, after having him like that. So,
well, no, because how they showed him in here, he's an adult. So,
yeah,
but
I'm talking about like that's in the future. I'm talking
right.
about for current day that they won't be able, even though they're like making him like a
I
kid
see what you're
again.
saying. Yeah.
I don't think that will last long term. Eventually they'll make him back to his age. And yeah, in the future when they're the new Trinity, the difference now between him being 19 and Damian being like 12 or 13 is a big deal. The difference when Damian is 23 and he's 29 or 30, not that big a deal.
Not that big of a deal at all.
Yeah.
Also, everything that happened with them as young, right, happened like was set like as flashbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like in the back of the Wonder Woman's, when Trinity is like 2 to 4, Damian's like 12 and Jonathan's like 16.
Yeah.
Right. And then in her story, the 6 issues that ran in her story, she ran into them at every age. Right. So, because she was traveling through time. Right. So she went, her 2 to 4-year-old self saw them as the younger version, like the age that we all know as Damian now.
Yeah.
Right. And Jonathan being still a teenager, but basically like comparing an 7th, 8th grader to a senior in high school, right? Yeah. And then literally by the time you get halfway through the Trinity story, they have them interacting where all of them are all full grown, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then they stopped the story and somebody else wrote like a 2-3 issue thing where Trinity's a baby and she's growing up on Paradise Island before you get to that part where, but they make a point in that, you can't see it in that page that I showed. The next panel makes a point where Batman and Superman say to her, "We made a promise to your mother when we were young that we are not going to go back on now just because we're all adults." Right? So I don't necessarily, my point to this whole tangent, I don't think they have to de-age him, if you know what I'm saying, right? What they need, he's like, what they're showing him now is basically the perfect age for what was established in the little Trinity arc in the back of Wonder Woman and in Trinity's own thing that they made canon, right? What we need to see Damian go from the 12, 13, 14-year-old that he is to the older teenager, while Lizzie goes from baby to elementary school age. Do you know what I mean? That's what would be happening now in the current timeline, right? So back to your point, I don't think they have to worry about de-aging Jonathan. What they need to do is age up the other 2 characters to keep them in line with what they established in these other stories, which were done as quote unquote flashbacks, but were in the future. It was weird how they did it. You know what I mean? You're actually seeing the future, but they're showing it as a flashback.
Well, like I said, I think it was a mistake. Like just about everything Bendis did with his Superman run, I think it was a mistake to age up Jonathan the way they did, because you already had such a cool thing with him and Damian.
I agree.
Those Super Sons books, which I'll admit I didn't really read them when they were coming out, and then we did the Character of the Week episode on Super Sons when Rob was on with us, and that's who it was. And I went through and read them, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't know why I didn't read these before. These are fantastic."
Yeah.
So it's
one of my son's favorite stories too.
Yeah. Plus, I also feel like they aged him up to this like I said, I don't know what he's supposed to be, 18, 19-year-old, something along there. And he's calling himself, and now he's like, I'm Superman. So we have two Supermans. Okay. And I've read him in these storylines where all the other characters are giving him the same level of respect that they're giving Clark as Superman. And I'm just reading it. I'm like, what has he done to earn this respect? Like, I know what Clark has done to earn this respect because he's freaking Superman.
Yeah.
What has John done to earn this level of respect? It feels like they just kind of forced it and said, "Oh, well, we're going to make the we're going to give this we're going to prop this character up for this," without actually having the stuff behind it to do it. Like Dick Grayson took him decades of working his way up to be, this respected leader amongst the DC characters that he is now, and it feels like they just pushed John there. Where if they kept him and Damian the same age and they let them grow up together and grow into those roles, it would have been more organic.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, whatever.
Okay, so after New Titans.
That's my TED Talk. Thank you. So that's my DC stuff. For my indie stuff, I picked these books up because Gary talked about the first issue, how much he loved it. It sounded cool, so I got it. He was right. It's awesome. Ordained.
It was good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
About it. Krysta raves about it as well. They talk it up at the comic shop, but I have not read it.
I highly recommend it. That and issue 2.
Okay.
These are the only ones that are out so far, and then they're having an issue 0 come out and an issue 3, and I don't know how much more past that. I think it's just a mini series.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically like if John Wick was a priest.
Ooh.
It's pretty badass.
Okay.
I very much enjoyed it.
Okay, I might have to go see if they have still have it at Comic Logic next week.
Oh, you definitely should.
Okay.
The Lucky Devils, number 7.
Okay.
Been digging this series a lot.
Great cover.
Oh, the artwork inside is fantastic. Let me find a good The artwork inside.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that is nice.
And
I love the artwork.
it's Charles Soule and the artist is Ryan Brown. It's they're the same creative team that did 8 Billion Genies, and they did Curse Words, and it's a really awesome series. It's pretty unique, and I really dig it. So I think there's only 2 more issues left. I'm not 100% certain, but I think that's it. Okay. Geiger, number 22.
I know a lot of people reading that.
So good. I love all the Ghost Machine books. My favorite among them is Redcoat, but this is probably number 2. It's so good. This one, Dead Teenagers, number 1.
I don't think our comic store had that. I don't remember seeing it. Okay, but
it's about these 4 teenagers, 4 friends in 1997 that are going to their prom, and it's kind of got it's got a Groundhog Day kind of feel to it, where they keep dying in different ways and then coming back, and they're the only ones that remember it and are kind of trying to figure out how to break the cycle. But it's like a different way each time. So, one of them, the first one it shows in the book where it says scenario 7105. It's this like giant kaiju lizard monster that is, coming into the prom and like eating everybody. There's another death where it's like a drunk driver, thing with them. And it's them, it's a mini series. I think it's only 5 issues, and it's them trying to figure out, why is this happening? How can we break this cycle? I dug it, and I love this series, this mini series too. This Exquisite Corpses.
Yeah, you and everybody. I'm reading so much horror now. I passed on it, but I might have to get the trades when they come out because
it's so good.
Everybody says it is so good.
And I
have a couple of horror things ending in this month or April.
And I get the you could get the polybag version, which I'm a nerd, so I got to have it all. So
Yeah.
I get that, and not only do I save the when I put it in the bag and board, do I save
Oh,
this
I do the
card
exact same thing.
that goes on it.
Totally. Yep. Totally do the same thing.
Oh, Pam said she just realized that you're the Liz that's in our chat all the time.
Yes, yes, that's me. Hi, Pam.
But each one of the polybag issues also comes with a card, and this
Oh, look at that. Very nice.
And I guess, and it says in the back of each issue, I guess it's going to be a card game because it says Exquisite Corpses, the game, coming 2026. Start collecting your killers now.
Ooh.
So each one of these cards, it's not like a trading card, like it's a card you can use in the game.
In the game, okay.
I don't know if I'll get the card game because who would I play it with?
Well, I know a lot of people that are getting the Exquisite Corpses comics, so you never know.
Yeah,
to get an online game going.
Yeah, I might get them just when it comes out, just for that. But at least these I'll have the cards that come with them. For Marvel, I got the Sentry #1.
Ooh, okay, I like that cover.
Got Planet She-Hulk #5.
Of course you did. Is that good?
It is good, but Marvel's ending. This whole cosmic thing they were doing, they're like cutting it off prematurely. So I've been reading She-Hulk. I've been reading Nova. Both of those are ending. That in like Imperial Guardians book, like they cut that down from an ongoing series and said, no, it's going to be like a 6-issue miniseries before the first issue even came out. So they're like, they're not even giving these books a chance to find an audience. Like it's like if the book's not selling huge off the bat, then they're just not giving it a chance to find an audience, which
it's just sad. Very sad.
It's annoying, but Mark Spector, Moon Knight #2.
That's a good cover too.
It is. I love it since ever since McKay took over doing Moon Knight stuff years ago. It's just been fantastic, and I love. Let me find a good shot of. Yeah, the artwork inside is just.
Oh, beautiful! Who's doing the interiors?
I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. I'm sure. Dev Malia Pramanik.
Okay.
And the colorist is Rachel Rosenberg. And I think it's very important in this book to point out the colorist because I've said it before.
Rachel does a lot of coloring for people. Yeah, look at that.
I love how they color his like mask.
Yes.
And how they give it this effect like it's glowing, like like how you would see the glow in the moon in the night sky. And I love how they do that effect on the coloring in here. So, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And it comes across better when you're looking at it than it does.
No, I can see the glow to it as well.
Yeah, I absolutely dig it. And then the last new one I got is Captain America. #8. My favorite character.
Of course, he was your #1.
Yeah, and he's my favorite character. I'm digging the current series. His last couple series have not been great. They've been between bad and okay. The last one, the Straczynski one, I thought started off real good. Like the first part was good, and then in the middle of the series, it wasn't great. It was dealing too much of this like. Hey, what's up, Sonny? It was dealing too much with this like mysticism stuff, and like that's not really Cap. And then the final storyline where it was Cap and Thor and Spider-Man was absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And then I got this Kickstarter book, which excuse me. I thought I'd show it off. I got it a couple weeks ago. I'm still reading it. It is Ava Strongbird and the Marine.
Ooh, I love the art on that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that woman on that cover looks just like my friend who lives in Texas.
So, yeah,
it has a really noir feel to that cover.
Yeah, so this is
that's great.
This is a Kickstarter that I just happened to come across, and thought it sounded interesting and got it. I end up backing a lot of Kickstarters. I don't back. Do I have the other stuff? I had the other stuff sitting here because it came with other stuff like some prints and postcards and stuff. I like backing Kickstarters when I can. I don't back as many as I would like to, just because the price point of them is a lot of it'll be like a single issue and you'll be paying $10-15 for it, and that doesn't even include the shipping you pay on top of it. And I get it that the print costs and the cost to pay for the creators to do it, you have to cover all of that. And you have to make a higher price point on the book to do that than you would for Marvel or DC or some of these indie publishers who are, printing this huge mass of stuff to cover it. But still, it makes it, at least for, like I said, my job doesn't pay a lot, so it makes it prohibitive for me to get as many as I would like. And then I got this other one here I pulled out, which I thought I would show off. It's not new. This was from a few years ago.
Okay.
There's another Kickstarter thing, but since your show is, very female character centric, I thought I would show this. It is from Hannah Comics, which I think is just the name they created so they could put these books out on Kickstarter. It's this series called Paradox Girl.
Ooh.
And it was these books. I think they ran, I want to say 3 Kickstarters to do all of these.
Okay.
Which I absolutely love the series. So it's this character, Paradox Girl, who can time travel.
Okay.
But she ends up making, as it implies, all these paradoxes because she'll travel to the past, to the future, all that. And as you see from the cover, it's not just a cover where it's like, oh yeah, that's funny how they're all on there. That's how the book is. They'll just be like multiple versions of the character interacting with herself.
Okay.
And,
which supposedly creates a paradox.
Yes, and the book, it's really fun. It was a really fun book. One of the things about it is she likes these waffles, called waffles in it, which at some point, it's like an Eggo kind of parody. At some point, the company goes out of business, so you have all these future versions of her traveling to the past so that they can buy the waffles that she likes, and then the waffles will sell out, and it gets to be this whole paradox thing with it. But
that's funny.
It's a really fun book. I don't know if the website's still up, but if it is, I highly say check it out.
Paradoxgirl.com. I will check it out because there was a new comic based in like a Monster Hunter based in New Orleans that there was a Kickstarter for, but it closed before I could donate anything, so I didn't get the comic. But I'm going to be looking to when they come up with the second, because I'm hoping that they'll resell the first.
Oh yeah, those ones always do that.
Yeah,
they'll always do that where you can, even if it's not a physical copy, where you can at least get a digital one. And usually they'll have stuff set up where they'll sell books like on their websites or on Amazon or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, because I know these were for sale on the website and on Amazon for a while. But yeah, so that's issue 1. This is issue 2.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
And she's like a superhero on here that, kind of trying to get her life together too. And the book is, like I said, the book is funny. It's a fun book. There are some very heartfelt moments in it too, which I enjoyed. This is issue 3.
Oh, I like the covers.
Yeah, and it's female creators that did it too. It's a woman writer, a woman artist too.
Oh, great.
So again.
Yeah, I will definitely be checking them out.
Issue 4.
Okay. I like that one too.
Number 5.
Okay.
And they had other stuff for sale, which I didn't have the money to get at the time, and I wish I had, where you could get like a T-shirt with like the waffle logo and stuff.
Yeah.
And issue 6.
I like that. I like the red cover and the use of the red.
Yeah, it's got the waffle there in the background, and like with This is just, yeah, like with most Kickstarters, they usually have extra stuff. You can get postcards, stickers, trading cards, posters, different kinds of stuff. So there was some mini prints for it. For
Oh, the number one.
if you want.
Ooh, and yeah, I like the one with the Wolverine. That's great.
So I usually keep that stuff all together. Keep that stuff all together with the books that I get, unless it's a poster. I try and get it, hang it up. Like I got this one Kickstarter, Impossible Jones. I have one of the posters for her where I'm pointing off camera that I have there, and I got the writer Carl Kessel to autograph it at Baltimore a couple of years ago.
Ooh, cool.
And then there was one spin-off book from Paradox Girl they did for this character from it called Axiom Man, who is another superhero in it that's kind of her on-again, off-again boyfriend.
Okay.
So, yeah, 6 issues, and then the Axiom Man one.
And then the one shot. Okay, so 7 total. That's doable.
Which, yeah, like I said, it's just, this series was a long time ago. It was, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, something. Maybe, no, it had to have been longer than that. Around that. It was a really fun series. And again, like I said, since I know that your show is very, female centric.
No, I love learning about new content.
I thought those would be some fun ones to show.
Yes, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm going to check out the website to see if it's still active for sure. All right. Am I up now?
Yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Let's see. We're going to switch. No, that way. Yes. Hello, everybody. All right. Well, I also always start out with DC mainly because I'm a Capricorn and I'm kind of anal about doing things in alphabetical order.
I just checked. Yeah, Paradox Girl is.
It's still available.
Paradoxgirl.com is still up. It's actually Image Comics now, so I guess.
Oh, cool.
Image Comics put out a trade that Paradox Girl issues 1 through 6.
Excellent. So I can get the trade. Nice. And I can just read the whole thing.
Yes. Like I said, I highly recommend it. It's just a really, sometimes you read a comic and it's just fun.
Yes. I like fun. That's one of the reasons I still read Archie. Because they're almost always fun. Just harmless fun. A little bit of, some heartfelt stuff occasionally, but always fun.
Yeah.
All right. So I got, of course, Catwoman number 85, which is a new arc. She's coming back to Gotham. It was very, very, very good. They brought back Holly Robinson. So I'm really interested to see where they continue to take it. Is this the next level? No, this isn't a next level thing, but it's part of the whole All In 2 where they're changing up all the stories.
Yeah, and I think that they're going to be doing I think all the books now that KO is over.
Yes, there's going to be impacts from that all the way, around. And of course, it's Catwoman. So I got all of the variants that were available. I got the Frank Cho.
I saw that one. That one's gorgeous.
I just think I watched him do the drawing for this on
is that one of his ballpoint pen drawings?
Yes.
Those are
and he did all of this rather than have Sabine Rich color it. He did the coloring, and you can tell that all he did was use pink, black and pink and gray ink.
Yeah, because he does it. If anyone's never seen him, go check out, go find him on YouTube where he does these drawings, and he literally does them.
On Facebook, he does reels on Facebook as well.
He has his regular stuff that he uses, regular pencils and inks, but he does those just literally with just like a big ballpoint pen, and it's amazing.
It's amazing. I also watched him today, and he showed he uses when he needs to do black. He actually uses a bottle of black ink with a brush.
Yeah, a lot of ink.
And I thought that was so. I was like, oh, maybe I need to get black ink.
Oh yeah, a lot of inkers will do that. They'll use a brush, or they'll get like when you hear them talk about nibs, because they'll get the ink, the pens where you actually have to like dip it in the ink, like like it was 1865.
Exactly. I then got the Mahmoud Azra.
Yeah, I said she looks buff in that one.
Yeah, I think she looks great in that one. I got the W. Scott Forbes.
Oh, I hadn't seen that one. I know Gary got a bunch of them, and when he was showing them all off, Sal actually said, he's like, I wonder how many of these Liz got.
Yeah, probably all of them. I think he gets the 125s or the 150s,
Yeah.
right? Because I wanted when I was like, I want the 150 or the 125 if they come in, and Rob was like, they're already spoken for most of the time, and I was like, and I swear it's Gary that gets those. It could be somebody else though. I really don't know who gets it, but
Well, if you ever want me to check it out,
he's like me. He likes to get, when he likes the covers, he likes to get them all.
well, if you ever want me to check, they have those at our shop too.
Okay, yeah.
Depending
so
on
this is the Women's Day one that is done by Lyrics.
Depending on what you're willing to spend on them, because they are a little bit more than the cover price.
Right. They're usually anywhere from I usually like anywhere from $20 to $25.
Yeah, between like 10 and 30, depending.
Exactly. And then I really like this one, which I wonder if they're doing on a lot of the main titles. This was just considered a symbol.
Oh,
and I love that it's purple and all it is the claw mark. I mean, there's not even a artist listed inside the cover. They just call it the symbol variant. So I'm wondering if they're going to be doing these for some of the other titles, because I do think it's just amazing looking.
Yeah.
Just so simple.
And they've done those before. Like, I know Sal has a lot of them where it's just the Superman logo or just the Flash. They did it with the Lantern books where they had one with like all the different lantern symbols, like red and orange. And purple.
They did did have the facsimile of the Detective Comics 576. So I got it because, as Gary says, a copy is a copy is a copy. And it might not be worth what it would be if I got in the actual 80s version, but I really like the cover. And Todd McFarlane does the interiors and did this cover. And
you know why he did those? Why he went to DC for those? Because he was doing Marvel at the time. I believe that's when he was doing Hulk. And he wanted to ink his own stuff because he felt like, the pencil work he was doing, that when he was turning it in, the inker, he didn't think the inker was doing justice to it, and he wanted to ink the stuff. And Marvel said, no, that's not how we do it. So he went to DC and he did a couple issues of Batman where they let him draw.
Do it all.
They let him pencil and ink his own
on the cover.
And then he kind of showed it to Marvel, was like, look. And then Marvel relented and said, okay, you can do it. And you could tell the difference in his work from when someone else was inking it to when he started inking it himself.
Yeah.
And then when he inked it himself, it was a lot more dynamic.
Okay. Richard, close your eyes if you're still watching. I also did get Lobo #1. I hated it.
You really? I thought it was.
I did not like it. He is not my character. I was just kind of like, I'm not disappointed that I got it, because I'm kind of glad that I at least gave it a shot, but it was just definitely not for me. The art was very messy for me.
Yeah,
I did not like the art. The story didn't really grab me. I think Scotty could have done a better job drawing it himself.
See, I don't really like Scotty Young's.
I'm not big on Scotty Young either, but he did the cover, and the cover's not bad, right?
No,
but he did not do the interiors, and I really didn't. So that will definitely not be going on my list.
Yeah, I get it, and that's the great thing about comics, is there's something for
everybody.
For everyone. Yeah. I did think that the artwork was kind of chaotic, but I thought, and if it was a Superman book or if it was, an Avengers book, I wouldn't have liked it. But because it was Lobo, I thought that it fit the story.
Because he's a chaotic character. Yeah.
And that's an important thing too, where the art has to fit the tone of the story. So,
True.
like if you look at the old New Mutant stuff, Bill Sienkiewicz, his artwork really suited that Demon Bear storyline. Did not suit the book after that, and it took
After
away
that,
from it.
right? No, I think you
fit.
make an excellent point that it does matter to the story, and
something
whether the art works for the story or not. And Lobo is a chaotic character, and the artwork was very reminiscent of like what his life would be like, and him. But for me, it was just too messy. I don't know how else to explain it. It was like,
I get exactly what
you mean. Turned off by the messiness of it.
And again, I've
never really been like, even in the animated stuff, and I just have never been a huge fan of the character. So maybe that made a difference as well, right?
Well, and it's like the Batwoman book for me, where the artwork really turned me off.
Yes.
But someone else might have read it and been like, "Oh my God, I love this!" And hey, you know what? That's what's great about comics, is there's something for everybody. Art is, it's not a competitive sport. It's completely subjective. So what's beautiful to one person, somebody else might not, like,
and that's okay.
Like Scotty Young, or is he, or not Scotty Young, the one, Scotty Young that does all like the really cartoony stuff.
Yes.
I don't like that stuff. I know other people love it and they will gobble up the covers that he does. It's not for me, but that's fine.
I only liked I love the little Scarlet Witch he did. I got that cover, but I didn't like his take on, like, there were other characters that he did in that same style that I thought, it just doesn't work. So I think that you make that good point. Sometimes an artist's style really works for a comic, especially on the interiors. On covers, it's a little different, right? But on interiors, to me, the art has to grab me, because that's why I'm reading a comic versus a novel, right? I like the stories, but if I want a really good story, I'm going to pick up a book. I want a really good story that's matched with fabulous art.
Like another example I'll use is Something is Killing the Children. Fantastic book. The artwork in it absolutely fits with the story and the tone of the story. But if you were to take that same artist and have him do the artwork in that same style for like X-Men, it wouldn't work. It would not work.
100%.
And if you were to take Jim Lee and have him do Something's Killing the Children, it wouldn't work, because that's not,
exactly.
The tone.
Yeah. Here, Wonder Woman 31. We talked about. I showed you the panel. The Wonder War.
And I know they're introducing a new.
It bounced between time frames, like 3 different time frames. I didn't like that, but the story itself was fabulous.
And they're introducing a new villain, right?
Yes, the matriarch. And the matriarch grew up with Lizzie and Wonder Woman's daughter. They're exactly the same age. And in fact, it's funny because there's an interview in the back of a lot of the DC Comics last month with Tom King describing his ideas for where that he got for the matriarch. And he talked about how he laid the seeds in the very first issue and nobody got it, right? And then they were born at the same time and nobody got it. And I went back today to those 2 issues, to 3 issues, issues 1 and 2, and then issues 25, I think is when she was born. It might've been 24, but when Lizzie was born, and I couldn't find it. So he hid that so well in the story that even looking for it, I couldn't find it.
Yara Flor, I just remembered. That's the name.
That's the name of the. Yes, very good. David Nakayama did his. He's been doing these red covers
Oh yeah, his
That's
covers are
Wonder
great.
Woman. It's gorgeous.
His
I
stuff
think
is great.
I really like um, her updated outfit that doesn't, that's more like the one that Gal Gadot wore
From
in
the
the
movie.
movie. Um, I never really liked the star pants, though Linda Carter rocked them in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I've just never been a huge fan, and we're going to talk about that in a minute when we get to my older stuff. Um, and then last but not least, also the International Women's Day, I got all of those covers for the characters that I get their issues, and this is also by Lyrics.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't
I
that
wish
pretty?
I had more money to get alternate covers. Like I will occasionally get them, but it has to be a cover that really blows me away.
I'm only so like I only have three titles that I'm really like, oh, I have to have the variants, and that's basically my DC gals, right? The rest they have to really wow me, and I'm slowly weaning myself off of buying so many for that same reason. I just don't have the extra funds every month. So, moving on to Marvel, I'm reading Sorcerer Supreme. This is number 4, Legacy number 148. And Lyrics is doing the A covers, and I just love this cover. Um, it was just, she's really, really doing a good job as Sorcerer Supreme, even though the Vishanti don't want her as Sorcerer Supreme, and they made Agatha, and her and Agatha have been fighting, but she actually defeats Agatha and then helps her against the Vishanti. So I thought that even just shows how magnanimous she
Mm-hmm.
is, right? And how close their friendship truly is. And that was kind of a spoiler, guys. So sorry about that.
If
I
the
got
only thing you know about Agatha Harkness is the Agatha from the WandaVision and the Agatha show, she's nothing in the show. She's like nothing like she is in the comics.
Well, they're writing her a little more since they kind of redid her and made her younger.
Yeah, I know that
They're
they did that in
kind
the
of
comics, but
taking some of the show aspects of her without taking away her history, which I'm okay with. But I really am kind of upset that they just didn't leave her alone. I'm really hoping we get to see her again, because now that Franklin is born, we got to see her with the Fantastic Four, because that's how she was introduced to the entire universe, as
yeah,
Franklin's nanny.
yeah.
So I'm really hoping that we get to see some iteration of that on film.
I kind of liked her that she was, in the comics that she was this like frail looking old lady
Yes,
that
yes, yes,
was
yes.
that was like, oh, she's nothing, and it's like,
She
no,
didn't get
she's a
her white
badass.
hair at the
She,
end of the show, at the end of uh Agatha's show, The Witch's
but like,
Road.
in the comics, she was just looked like this unassuming old lady, and it's like, oh no, she's a badass, and she will mess you up if you cross
She
her.
will mess you up. Absolutely. So I did get two variants of Sorcerer Supreme. I got the Russell Dowderman. I love his art, and he actually
Oh, that's
created her new look. So I'm kind of been getting his variants, because I think it's weird that he's doing a lot of the interiors. And I think it's kind of weird, though, that he created the character's new look and all that, but they're having Lyrics do all of the A covers rather than Russell, who was doing all the A covers when she was doing when it was Scarlet Witch and Scarlet Witch and Vision and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. He was doing all the A covers for those. But for this, they went with Lyrics. So now I have to get it as a variant. And then Krysta put this in my box, and I wasn't going to get it. And then I changed my mind. This is an Alex Malvi,
oh, that was really cool.
Malieve, I think is
Oh,
how you
Alex
pronounce his
Maleev.
name. And I just really love the black cat. And Sorry, I had a bug on my arm. The black cats, and I just love how she's sitting on the throne, and she's just got this like "f you" to the world look on her face, you know.
It's very
Um,
Doctor Doomish.
yes, exactly, exactly. And the story's been really good. I've really been impressed with how she's been Sorcerer Supreme so far. She's really surrounded herself with like all of the other magical characters as her counsel because she doesn't want to screw it up. And she's like, and if I do it by myself, I'm going to screw it up. Right. So, and she feels responsible for the eye of
Agamotto. Agamotto.
yes, and the cape because they sought her out
Mm-hmm.
when Duke was defeated. So she feels responsible for them and wants to do. It's like she's really committed to being the best sorcerer supreme that she can be. And she feels like the only way she can do that is if she has this council with like Clea and her brother Quicksilver and both of her sons and Hulkling because he's married to one of her sons
To Wicked.
and a couple other people that the names are escaping me right now.
Is
But
Brother Voodoo one of them?
yes, thank you. And I just really thought that was great. You know what I mean? Because Doom didn't do that, and Stephen Strange didn't do. You know what I mean? They didn't do that. They were like, "Oh, I'm going to do it on my own," and I just think it shows how much Wanda has matured.
I mean, Strange did have Wong and he had Clea, but yeah, he didn't. He did
Yeah,
mostly
yes.
himself.
Wong, he's the other one that's of course on the council.
Okay.
So, and I would imagine now that she's kind of reconciled with that with Agatha, some she'll probably put Agatha on the council. So we'll see, because that the Vishanti, want Agatha as Sorcerer Supreme. So, but I'm invested in the story. Um, I like Steve Orlando. He's been telling this Wanda story now for 3 years, and I'm enjoying his writing. I know normally we talk about women. We've done a lot of talking about male writers and artists today. Not that that matters, because there's great artists and writers of both genders and non-binaries uh, in the comic industry between the independents, the artist owned and operated, DC and Marvel. I just think this is a kind of like a second renaissance of the comic industry because they're doing just such amazing work of storytelling right now. Um, I got a couple of independents. I got Darkness number
I was gonna,
4.
real quick because you mentioned Orlando. Not doing it for the Codex station though. Hopefully, I'll be able to schedule one with them. But there's
Mm-hmm.
another podcast station that's Avengers centric, where like all the stuff they do is about Avengers. They do a lot of interviews, and they're doing this interview with Steve Orlando in a couple of weeks, and they asked me to come on and be like a guest with them to, for when they do this interview with them.
Oh, I might write a couple questions out for you to ask him if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me know if there's anything you want, because any questions pertaining to the Scarlet Witch, you have to send him in advance by the end of this month.
Okay.
Before we do the interview, because he's got, because some of these fans, are literally like sending death threats to him and stuff over some of the stuff with it. It's like, dude, yeah, I've read what they've done with characters I like and just absolutely hated it, but I've never thought, oh, I'm going to go kill the writer or I'm going to send them a death threat because I didn't like how they wrote this fictional character that I like.
That's insanity to me. That's when you move from being a fan to being a fanatic, and in an unhealthy way.
Like, I'll say I don't like this. I'll say why I don't like it. I might complain about it, but I'll never go, oh, I'm gonna, you deserve to die. Yeah. Like, no, they might deserve to get fired from the book, but not fired from life. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I have to completely agree. Completely agree. Yeah, I know one question I would want to know right off the bat, where he got his idea for the door, for the magical door in her Emporium shop, because that's what that sucked me in right from the get. And I loved the concept, and he kept that going through 2 different series with her, and it just gave such a wealth of story potential. So I just love to know where he came up with that idea, but I'll write that down for you.
Okay.
My last independent that I got was the 3rd issue of Dark Souls, Mother of Mourning, which apparently is based off of a another series called the Dark Souls original series, and a video game, which I did not know.
I've
I
heard
got
of the game, yeah.
I got sucked into the Willow King little series that was in the Dark Souls universe, and loved it, and grabbed this because it was the next one. Came out a year later, but loved the first issue. Second issue totally was just like, I don't know. The story just seemed to hiccup. I don't know how else to explain it. It just didn't seem to follow what had come before. This third issue brought everything back and gave us some backstory. So it kind of made the second one now make sense now that you've read number 3. I hate when writers do that. That they foreshadow something that it makes no sense when you're reading it, but then you read a different issue, either the next issue or a couple issues later, and they explain that thing that made absolutely no sense way back in issue 2, right? But I did really enjoy the 3rd issue. It's only a 4-issue run. So next month, or I think these come out every 2 months. So I'll be interested to see how they wrap it up. But it's been really good, and it's been female centric. It's about a woman warrior who went to defeat the dark, but ended up getting defeated herself and then being absorbed and becoming the big bad. And now this group of warriors are going off to save her and bring her back and turn her back into this, goddess that they all think is going to be this great mother versus this nasty evil creature that is destroying their world. So I'm going to be interested to see how they wrap it up. Sometimes I'm always surprised that they've left so many holes when it's like a 4-issue thing, right? And you read issue 3 and you're like, how on earth are they going to answer all of this stuff in one issue? And they do it, but so I got a few independent, just a few showcase things. I had never done a blind bag before. And we all know Archie is my guilty pleasure, and they were doing blind bags for
I gotta say this.
Yeah.
When you say guilty pleasure,
yeah.
Don't sell yourself short on that. I see people, when they post like, what's your guilty pleasure for a movie or for a show or for music? And my response is, I don't have any guilty pleasures because I don't feel guilty over whatever I like. I'm not going to, just if you like Archie, just don't call it a guilty pleasure. It's just a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. And I have joked that, I don't know if you've seen the movie Dazed and Confused, but Matthew McConaughey.
So many times.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey's character when he does that line. And that's exactly why I love Archie. The line is not aged well, but I love Archie because every year I get older, but Archie and gang stay exactly the same. They're still in high school. I love it.
So I'll just put that out there for anyone. Never call it a guilty pleasure. It's just something you like.
That's a really good point.
And if somebody else wants to look down on you for it, you know what? F them. Because me, like, all right, I'm, into punk rock and all that, and that's my favorite music. But I listen to all kinds of stuff. So I'm not going to say, oh, well, it's my guilty pleasure that I like Huey Lewis in the News or like that I like some of these 80s bands. I'm like, no, there's nothing guilty about it. I love Huey Lewis in
We
the
like
news.
what we like, right?
Exactly. I was like, if you know, if
I
you don't
don't know
like
if I'm ever going to do a blind bag again, though, because I got
it,
burned, right?
yeah,
This was not a cheap blind bag. I didn't I am not a fan of Army of Darkness. I got the number one
oh,
when it came
I love
out
the movie.
because I'm an Archie fan and I thought it was really cool that they were doing an Army of Darkness and I was entertained by the first issue, but again, I'm limited. I would rather spend the money on the Catwoman variants. So I don't normally sign up for the Archies. I only get like the ones that come out that are either the specials or something that catches my eye. But I thought, well, I'm going to do a blind bag. It was for issue number one. I thought, oh, maybe I'll get some cool covers. And I did get two pretty cool covers. I got this one.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I got this one, which is just the black and
Oh,
white.
that's
There is
pretty
a
cool.
colored version of this one, but this one was, the special for the blind bag. But the third one was stuck inside the blind bag. They had where it's sealed. You can see here, I cut the bag, right? But you can see here where the top of the bag is
Yeah.
literally stuck to the cover. And when I was trying to open it, I ripped it that far. Now it's a blank,
Yeah.
right? Okay, it's a blank, but I was not happy. You should not stick your bags in and have one of your comics literally stuck. And
Yeah,
we were
that
talking
sucks.
about the bags, right? I kept the bag just so I reached out, Rob was great about it because I opened the blind bag in the store. And he was absolutely, he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he said, he was like, there's nothing I can do about that. You have to reach out to Dynamite directly. So I took a 10-second, not 10-minute, 10-second. Uh, that's pretty cool, Pam. uh, Video of showing them because it was still in the bag, right? Of it being stuck in the bag and where it had ripped. And there was no email. I joined their Facebook page and then I sent them a message over Facebook with the little 10-second video. And then, like I said, I literally cut the bag so that I could take it out without ruining the comic. And, but I haven't heard back from them yet. I probably won't hear from them.
Well, what
But
you got to do is not just send them a message. You got to post it on Facebook so like other people can see it too. Facebook or Twitter.
Well, I
Or something.
just did it on YouTube and Facebook because we're streaming live there. So,
But
Dynamite,
like,
if you're paying attention.
but do it. Do it like if it's on Twitter or Instagram, or I don't know how to do it on Instagram, but like Twitter or Facebook, where you make a post and then you put, at like at Archie,
at Dynamite. Okay.
at Dynamite, this is what happened, and you have the video on there, and that way other people could see it, and hopefully they'll start commenting, and
and eventually somebody at Dynamite will see it.
Yeah, because if you just send it to them in a private message, it's easy to ignore. If it's something in the public and lots of other people start seeing it and they'll start commenting, oh, yeah, that happened to me too. Or, oh, man, that sucks. I wouldn't get it anymore. That's when they'll be more inclined to reach out and actually, do something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm almost done. I've been talking about it for a couple weeks. I signed up for Carla Cohen did a cover for an exclusive cover for Catwoman number 84, the one that came out last month. And I signed up for the exclusive and I finally got them on Tuesday. They came in the mail. This is the main.
Oh, that looks nice.
Isn't this gorgeous? I haven't even opened them. I don't think I'm gonna open them. I'm thinking I'm gonna send them to Kent to make sure that they're in good shape and pressed, and then I'm gonna get at least the virgin slabbed. And then this is the Virgin with
Wow.
the blue. I love the blue
Nice.
black cover. Yeah, oh, isn't that just gorgeous? So $25 for both.
How much?
But I thought that that wasn't really too bad, right? For
How
what
much?
they are, right? A Virgin is usually at least $19.99, if not $24.99. So I feel like I really didn't overpay.
How much?
You
How much
know,
did you say
25 for
for
both.
both? Oh no,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good price for
Yeah,
them.
I thought that that was a really good price, and I'm thoroughly, thoroughly impressed with the art. I love them, and I know I want to get the Virgin slabbed. Um, so I'm probably going to be sending that off to
Oh
Ken.
yeah, you got to get a chastity belt on that Virgin.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
Um,
was gonna say, going back to Archie, if you want to get a wild Archie crossover, go
mhm.
back to 1994. There were two of them that were put out. One was by Marvel and one was by Archie, where it was a crossover between Archie and the Punisher.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look for that. I'm
So
totally gonna have to look for that.
Marvel did Archie meets Punish, or Marvel did Punisher meets Archie, and Archie did Archie meets the Punisher. So I don't know how well you'll be able to. So this is that's the Marvel one.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And then this is the Archie one, which is maybe even more shit,
Oh,
even more of a ridiculous cover where it's like the Punisher at like a high school prom.
oh my gosh, with his gun. Oh, I love it though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look for those.
it
I'm
says
really
the team up you thought would never happen. Archie and the Punisher,
and
which
the
you were
Punisher not to. Well, I didn't think that they'd team him up with Army of Darkness with
right.
Bruce Campbell's character in Army of Darkness either.
And then it's
Uh,
got Archie saying, "I knew there'd be a chaperone, but this is ridiculous."
but this is ridiculous. They make the best lines on the Archie covers. I think that's also one of the reasons that I like them so much. They always do these kind of like tongue in cheek little um innuendo covers, Um so although my big like I probably will never be able to afford it, but like I want the Josie #1 from
Oh
1963, but the cheapest I've seen is 325, and that's a little rich for I wasn't willing to pay that for a Catwoman.
yeah,
So I'm not really willing to pay that for a Josie. But someday, like if I'm ever, win the lottery and I have money to just spend, I would definitely want to get a first appearance of Josie as well.
yeah.
Last but not least, well, I shouldn't say completely last because I did get one special thing, which I will show after this. I did get also the facsimile of the Wonder Woman #1.
Oh, that's cool. And like
And
Gary
it
says,
was great. It had 3 stories in it. It's got all of the advertisements from, the war bonds, and she's still in the skirt, right? The stars and stripes skirt. You can see that there, right?
yeah,
Um, but I did not like, I just never liked this outfit, even when I was a kid and my dad was buying me these comics. But I'm really, even though it's a facsimile, I'm really glad to have these first 3 stories that Charles Marston actually wrote and drew himself in my collection. So I thought
have
it
you
was
seen
worth
that
it.
movie they made about him?
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
But yeah, I
Um,
like how Gary says too when they do the facsimiles of the Golden Age stuff that they actually make it the size.
Make them in the right size. I had to use one of my big size
Yeah.
bags and boards for it. Last but not least, and I'm going to tease you a little bit because your initials are on the top of this big bad boy. I
Oh,
got.
nice.
Did you write this, Dan?
Did
Because
I write it?
did you see that right there? Did
If,
you?
if I if, if I wrote that, I would be able to afford a lot more comics than I actually do now.
I
That's
saw
cool
this,
though.
and it was the last copy they had, and I was like, I really want it in my collection.
That was
Um,
cool.
and I did think it was kind of funny that it had the Dan Kelly art, or the DK on the top. I'm not even quite sure what the DK stands for. But I'm
Probably a
really
publishing
just
company.
glad to have this in my hardback collection.
That's
And it wasn't too bad for the size. I mean, like I got the Catwoman omnibus last week, and it was double what this one was. So, um, I think that it was, a good thing to add to the collection. Now I'm going to grab some of your art here. I have photocopies of everything because I pick out my colors and do kind of like a run
I
of
do
what
the
I'm
same
going to
thing.
do
I do the same thing
on
here.
photocopies before I do anything on the covers themselves. But Dan, when I saw him at the Schaff Comic-Con in Frederick a couple weeks ago, he gave me 5 new comics of blank covers that he has drawn on to ink. I have inked what, 7 things for you now. 6 for
Yeah,
you
I
and
got
1
them.
for Gary, because
I
the
got
Wonder, you gave me 6, and then I did the Wonder Man for Gary.
Yes, I got some of them here. One of them, the Colossus one I gave away to our buddy Colossus Collector, who has his YouTube
cool.
YouTube station, which was pricey for me to mail because he lives in Canada, but Colossus is his favorite character. And
Okay.
I sell stuff whenever I could sell stuff. I do because I would do the extra.
I always say right over my head is Dan Kelly's Catwoman on my wall.
So the extra money when it comes in is definitely helpful, but even if it's stuff that I can't sell, like some of it I just give away because I don't particularly want this stuff just sitting around. I wanted somebody else to have it and
absolutely
let it sit around their house.
Well, plus it gets your art out there.
Yeah.
Right. That's the other thing. It's always good to get your art out there. I think anyway. So I always do research, and you gave me a couple that I didn't know, like off the top of my head. So like obviously I knew Spider-Gwen, but I had to look up Silk. I didn't even know who Silk was.
So that one I did.
Really looking forward to drawing that.
It was a commission that I did for Adam. And I forget the name of he's always at the lot cons. It goes to I forget the name of what he's changed the name of his comic vendor name a couple times. I forget what it is now, but
I know.
But his favorite characters, like he loves like the female characters like Spider-Gwen and Silk and them. So he had me do that, and I sent him like 3 or 4 different poses. That's the one he picked, and then I drew it in pencil and sent it to him. And I had the little Spider-Man thing on there, and he said, I don't want Spider-Man on it. And he didn't want him in masks. So I drew it for him where they didn't have the masks on. It was just their face. And I took the Spider-Man off, and I actually colored it because he wanted it in color. And I said, look,
I love Spider-Man.
I was like, I'm not a good colorist, so it's going to be flat colors. He said he was fine with it.
Okay.
But I still thought, well, this is still pretty funny. The whole Spider-Man thing with like the spider, the sexy pose with them. And then Spider-Man having the spider sense, and then like at the bottom, like the thwip, kind of like, I think we all know.
I'm gonna do the lettering in a bright yellow, and I'm looking forward to, because she's got this really cool outfit where it's like red in the center, and then it darkens as it goes out. So I'm really gonna work on that. So I've been really working on learning blending and how to combine mediums. So going from brush and ink and I bought, like, I saw these on, you're gonna laugh, I saw these, we were talking about it earlier. I saw these all on Frank Cho's easel. These azure inks. And so I had already bought, from when I did the last batch for you, I had bought the ones for grays and the 6 that were main colors for flesh, right? They were called portraiture, right? And then the gray, because I knew I was doing Colossus and I needed a wide variety of gray scales, right? But then I was like, I had no idea. And then I've seen like these videos, and a whole bunch of different comic inkers are using these exact same inks. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I bought the right thing. But I've been learning how to do the inks, but to do some of the shading and the fine detail work to really get those light shades where the light from wherever it's directed is hitting, is a lot of that is done with pencil on top of the inks. So these are going to be an experiment for me, because most of what I did for you before was very limited shading and blending because I was still learning. And now that I've got a couple more techniques down, I'm really hoping to expand on that a little bit. Cami from Street,
What was I say with
I had to look her up. I had no idea.
With the Spider Gwen thing, and that since I did the commission for Adam, and then I was like, well, I don't want to. I hate letting a good idea go to waste. So I was like, well, I got the Spider-Man cover, so I'll just draw on that. And if you look at the top where it says Spider-Men, I put a little WO in front of it, so it says Spider.
Oh yes, there it is. There it is.
I put that real small on there, and I put them in their masks.
Oh, so I love it.
So they'd be more identifiable, because I just thought like the Spider-Man poking his head out with the spider sense and the little thwip. I was like, you know what? This is kind of like, for me, how Frank Cho does those outrage covers. That's my attempt at an outrage cover. I'm like, I don't want to let a good idea go to waste. So I'll redo it on that.
So no, I'm really looking forward to coloring that one. And then, like I said, Cami from Street Fighter, I didn't even know who she was. I had to look her up, but I'm really looking forward to doing the green of her outfit. And you've given me a lot of skin to work with. So I'm really, excited about learning the blending to give that muscle tone in the skin.
I picked all the sketch covers. I picked the ones that were all women, because I know that's more of your interest than, not to say you're not interested in male characters, but I know you
really love doing the Colossus, because I was trying to find a way to get that silver to really pop,
You did a good job on it.
Yeah. So I know, and all of the ones you gave me before, I think there were only 2 women. It was Black Widow and Catwoman. The rest were all men, but I thoroughly enjoyed the Superman, because you gave me a whole background.
Oh yeah.
So I was able to do the whole cover versus just the figure. So no, I've been enjoying all of that you gave me, but I am looking forward to doing these women. Supergirl
should make just do a still of that, and that'd be a fun out of context quote. I'm really looking forward to doing all of these women.
Oh yeah, that
can be your new tagline for
this. That could be my new tagline.
So for anybody that's wondering about what Liz is talking about, this is this. Well, I'll wait until we're.
Yeah, let me show off these last 2, and I'm planning on doing the same thing that I did with the others, showing all of the blanks before I color them, and then after getting the oh yeah, I like that, then showing the final product. I always make sure you get first viewing before I'm throwing them up on Facebook. Vampirella, another one I'm looking forward to.
And I did that one a long time ago, and I actually just did there's another Vampirella sketch cover coming out that I just put an order in to get, just because it's a fun character to draw, because you can draw her sexy, you can draw her like kind of vampire-ish too,
scary, sexy. Yeah, you get a little bit of variety there. Last but not least ever, we have Miss Satana, and this is another one where you've actually given me a whole cover.
That one, I'm happy with most of it, except I'm not happy with how her face turned out.
Well, I have found that you can do a lot with shading. So let's see how you like it once I've, you know, faces are hard. I
As
swear
well,
faces are the hardest out of anything to draw.
well, especially female faces. Yeah, because I feel like her face kind of turned out looking like Lisa Rena, and not like Lisa Rena when she was younger. Like Lisa Rena now, where she's had clearly way too much plastic surgery.
Yes,
But yeah, women's face
they're hard.
are they're harder to draw, and not just their faces, but also parts of their bodies. Because with men, when you draw them, like if you put a lot more lines on their face, it makes them look more rugged or tougher. But if you do that with women, it ages them. You know, ages
Mm-hmm.
the drawing a lot. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't generally look real good. And same thing for some of the body. Like if you're drawing a man and you're drawing a lot of lines on the arms and stuff, like it looks really muscular. And if you're doing it on a woman, it has to be the right character. Like if you're doing it on She-Hulk or Power Girl or someone like that, then yeah, it's fine. But if you're doing it on Zatanna or Catwoman or Black Cat, it
It
doesn't look
doesn't
good.
work. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's hard finding that, and I find that my drawings, and I've been making a conscious effort on it, on the stuff I've been working on, is like pulling back, and like I don't have to do a ridiculous amount of detail on some of this stuff. Like you
Mhm.
know, because I look at some of the stuff I did before and I'm like, yeah, it looks cool, but there's too much detail. And when there's too much detail, the whole thing can kind of get muddled.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you got to put detail, but you got to know the right place to put it. And faces, even drawing male characters, like eyes, nose, are
Do
you
you
know are
do the um so we all take art in school, and I had a friend when I was in college that drew anime, and I always joke, I can't make stick people look like stick people. I can color in lines, but I can't within lines, but I can't draw. And he was like, "Oh, anybody can draw." And he showed me how to make the for a face. You start with the oval
yeah.
with the X, and
Hmm.
you know where the nose and the eyes are gonna fall in that
Yeah.
frame. And now he, of course, was anime based, which that's a style. Very, very little nose.
Pointy.
Very, the mouth is tiny, eyes are big. You know,
But this
uh,
stuff it's got a lot of like stuff that comes to a point,
yes, and there
not
are
as
a lot of
rounded.
angles,
Yeah.
and you see somebody like Adam Hughes or Jim Ballant, picking out two people that we know are wonderful at drawing the female form, right? Um, they are much better at, well, Hughes at realism, right? Really giving you that perspective of a real face, a real body. Jim Ballant can do the same thing, but his is still more a little on the cartoony side. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can't really see too great, but there's a difference between the Satana by Jamal Campbell that's in the background here, right? You can see the bottom half of her hand holding the cards, right? You got
Hmm.
the same guy did the Black Canary that's next to it, but the Scarlet Witch that Russell Dowderman did is more cartoony than that much more realistic Satana. Then you can go up to look at the Batman and the Poison Ivy and the Harley. You can't, we're covering up Catwoman. But again, that's like a little more on the comic cartoony side. You go look at what Sean Phillips did for Velvet at the very top. That's photorealism,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that when you have these varying styles, right, that the techniques are slightly different. And it's not just in the inking, it's in the actual penciling and all that. And personally, anybody who can draw in any level. I have the utmost respect for you all because again, I can't even make eyes the two same side. You know what I mean? I could give you an anime little nose, but actually make a nose that looks like a nose, I couldn't do that.
Well, everyone sees this is some of the stuff that I gave Liz before to color. This was something that I actually was a commission that Jamie had me do, where
Mm-hmm.
he wanted me to do. It was a blank cover for the first issue of the New Titans book, and
Okay.
he had wanted me to do Nightwing and Robin and Starfire and I forget with the other character, but he wanted me to do like their current version and their younger version. And I
Okay.
told him, I said, well, if I'm doing that on the cover, I can't do them all on the cover because it's going to be too small to draw unless you want it to be like the front and back of the cover. Then I
Right.
can do all 6 of them going across. If it's just the front of the cover, they're going to be so small, I'm not going to be able to get detail in. So just pick 2 for that. I'd
Right.
say it was your choice. So he picked Nightwing and Robin. So I did that. If you could see, I did make Robin a tiny bit shorter than Nightwing. I should have made him. I should have probably put Nightwing's head right about there or Robin's head right
At
about
the
there to
same
make him a
time,
bit.
though, he wasn't. He was in college when he stopped being Robin and started to become Nightwing. And boys don't finish growing till they're 25. They
Yeah,
have that last growth spurt in their late teens, early 20s. This is just prior to his growth spurt.
yeah. But it's after his growth spurt. But yeah, I did want him to be
I meant the
shorter.
Robin.
But I should have
But
made
yeah,
Robin. I should have made Robin a little bit shorter. But you definitely did a great job on that. Yeah, that's the Superman she was talking about.
yeah, I really that one I think was my favorite out of the bunch.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like the George Reeves Superman kind of in the
Yes,
face.
and I was also going for trying to really make his pants look like they were fabric
Yeah.
versus the flat color. And then there's the Black Widow,
Yeah,
and
the
I
Black
and I
Widow one was
copied
cool.
that off of a cover that I saw that was her in that same pose.
Hmm.
That I saw a cover that had that red X behind it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if that's what you were going for, but I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm going to use that to color
Well,
it.
I just after I drew the figure, I was like, I'm always drawing these figures. I should do something in the background. So I just did that Black Widow symbol in the
And who
background
did
of
you?
it.
So you didn't even know you were copying an actual, you were doing an homage cover.
Yeah, I didn't. I was just like, oh, I'll just put the Black Widow symbol in behind her, and then the Boba Fett from Book of Boba Fett, which
Yes.
the look of
Yes.
the character in the show was cool. The show itself wasn't great,
I
but
didn't mind it. I was one of those people who I found it very entertaining.
I don't know.
Uh,
I felt like the show, they had Boba Fett going from being like a real badass to just being decidedly not a badass. But yeah, you did a fantastic job on those. So yeah,
but yeah, I'm looking forward to inking some more with you and
and if
and
you want, if
doing
you
my techniques. So trying these blending techniques to really,
yeah,
make
if
it
there's
more
other
than just the flat. Oh, this is just one color.
so if there's anything else you want, like I said, I got a stack of excuse me. I got a stack of other sketch covers here that I've done, and I've got a stack of probably 20 to 30 sketch covers I haven't drawn anything on yet. Some of them I just, some of the recent ones, like I said, I've decided I'm not buying them anymore unless I have a pretty good idea what I'll do on them. But
Hmm.
some of the ones I bought a while ago, I have zero idea what I'm going to do on them. And some of them I'm thinking like I'll just find someone to like trade them to for something else or just get rid of them because I just have no
I
idea what to do.
I have one saved on my want list at Amazon of all places, a blank Catwoman that I my son's father John is an artist. His mother and grandmother were artists. They were portrait artists. His grandmother was a portrait artist. His mother did the read along books on reading Rainbow that was on WETA.
Oh,
She
nice.
used to Ray Owings. They would read the book and she would draw it as it was being read. She did live shows. John got his degree in art, and when our son was little, um, uh, actually before that, he was doing like logo design and all that from the early 80s while he was working as a mechanic full time. And then when our son was born, he made the slow transition from mechanic to full time artist. He specialized in motorcycle painting. I don't know how to do the show pictures on here yet. Sal was supposed to teach me how to do that. I don't have a whole lot of examples of his work, but he's painted thousands and thousands of motorcycles, and from dragons and damsels in distress. He also was able to take this technique of being able to get photorealism with his, because he would do the line work, right? And then he would do the painting, and then he would silk screen the line work ink right on top of the paint job so that he could get that fine line detailing without having to sit with a pen
Yeah.
and ink on the tank or the fender. And I wish I could, if I see you, maybe I'll bring a handful of images to show you at LotCon. Anyway, he stopped painting about 3 years ago. As he said it, his 60-plus-year-old shoulder could not take the sanding anymore. And 30, 40 years of breathing in paint fumes and all that. His primary medium was ink and airbrushing, right? And he so he was like, and they shifted the shop to just motorcycle repair and rebuilding and building new bikes, and that he doesn't do the painting anymore. But he's still like, he designed all my tattoos that I have. The whole time we were married, he designed all my tattoos, and I'm like, I need you to draw me a Catwoman. I cannot believe I've got arts of fairies on our wall, but I have no Catwoman from you. So I'm gonna get a Catwoman cover, and he's gonna draw that for me, and then I'm gonna go get it slapped.
I got
I can ever get him time. Now I don't know if you have that issue, because you seem to be able to pump out a lot of art. He just never seems to find the time in his schedule to sit down and actually draw something these days,
It's slow for me because I can never, people ask me how long it takes to do a drawing, and I'm like, I can't really give you an accurate time because it's not like I have time to sit down and do a drawing from start to finish. It's like doing it a little bit of a time. Usually when I'm at work during the day, and I can find like a few minutes here or there to like work on a little bit between having to do stuff. And yeah, so it takes me a while because I just don't have time to sit down and focus on it. And I actually did the Absolute Catwoman series that's getting ready to come out. They're going to have a blank sketch cover for issue 1, so I put a reserve in for
I'll commission that from you.
All right, I put a reserve in to get that one and to get the sketch cover for the first issue of the Absolute Green Arrow.
Oh, cool, Pam. That is really cool. John actually did, I think it was George W's bicycle helmet. Painted that. He painted a couple of the Washington Capitals at the time, and this was like in the early 2000s. He painted some of their helmets that they, were wearing during the game.
Here's what I'm working on now.
Ooh. Oh, that's good. Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, right?
Yeah. And I was thinking about, like, oh, it would have been cool to, because originally it was just Cap and Iron Man, because it was one of those guys that has the Instagram accounts where they like pose the action figures, take pictures. I love to follow them because I get cool ideas. So it was that, and I saw him like, oh, that'd be cool to draw. Then I thought, like, all the space in the background, I was like, so I put Thor on there, and it was a Thor statue I saw, but it was the one, like the old armor kind of one that Walt Simonson drew
Oh
for
yeah,
him when he did his run with like
absolutely.
the kind of helmet mask and like the
Yeah.
chainmail and stuff. But I
Hmm.
decided to do it with the classic Thor costume. And then I went, man, it'd be cool if I could fit the rest on there. So I was thinking about taking like one of the bigger like this size, like the like the bigger size
Hmm.
paper, and doing a that would be like this size
Yeah.
compared to this, and then
Yeah.
redrawing on there, but maybe doing it sideways and
Oh, where you
charges
could
on
get
there like
where,
a little
yeah,
bit smaller,
where
and
you
then I
can
could
you're
have
gonna add. Oh,
more Avengers,
yeah.
in it, because I end up doing that a lot. Like I'll draw something and then I'll come back to it later and been like, man, I could do a better job than that, and like redrawing it. And
Gotcha. So we are getting ready to wrap up because we have been on now for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I don't want to keep you all night. Um, but before we wrap up, we always ask every guest we have your favorite female character, and I think I know because you're wearing the shirt.
I could be like Sal and list like,
Writer and favorite female artist. And if you want to break it out, DC, Marvel, Gary broke it out. This is my, for artists and writers and characters. He kind of broke it out between golden age and modern, however you want to
yeah,
do it.
I'm not going to go as far as Gary did. I know Sal, broke it down, like listed a few of them. So I'll say a few. I'll say for character, yeah, my favorite female character is She-Hulk.
Hulk, I knew that.
And it was really like when John Byrne got a hold of her and had her in Fantastic Four, and then especially in Sensational She-Hulk.
Mhm. Sensational She-Hulk is where I was introduced to her. I did not know she was. Come on, my stupid dog. Come on.
So I like that when she was doing the stuff where she would be breaking the fourth wall well before
Deadpool,
Deadpool or other characters that are like Ambush Bug have done it. So I like her a lot, and it's interesting. The only reason that Marvel created the character is so they would have the copyright for him, because they had the Incredible Hulk TV show at the time.
remember?
And they were afraid that, and I think rightly so, that the network had been talking about creating a female version of the Hulk because the Hulk show was so popular, and spinning off and having a female Hulk character, and it was going to be Bruce Banner's sister, not his cousin. And I'd have to look at, I forget who, but they actually cast someone that it was like that's well known, had cast her to be in a She-Hulk like spin-off show, and we're going to introduce her like how they did those Incredible Hulk after they did the show, they did the movies with Daredevil and Thor and all that. They were going to do one for that and spin her off into a show, and it ended up never happening. So Marvel, like the way they had $6 Million Man and then they had the Bionic Woman, so Marvel was afraid, well, if they do this first, they're going to own the character, not us. So they introduced She-Hulk so that they would have the rights to the character before a TV network would be able to.
Okay. Interesting.
And it was the last character that Stan Lee created for Marvel until he did Ravage 2099, which was then the final character he did for him. And he only wrote the first issue, and then, it was other creators that did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first Savage She-Hulk book, she was not the character that we know now. She's very different then, but that's my favorite character. Some other notable female characters I really like is Power Girl. Zatanna, I really like. I'm hoping her new series will be good.
Me too, because I was really disappointed in the Bringing Down the House one.
Yeah, the last miniseries.
Yeah.
Which makes me nervous because the writer of that series is going to be the writer of this series. So
yes, but it's supposed to be on this whole new, stuff happened after the DCKO, and Zatanna in that fight with Harley Quinn had some revelations about herself that Harley kind of forced her to have.
I'm
right?
hoping that'll be good. Like I
So
said
hoping,
before,
fingers crossed.
if any writer out there wants to take it, do it. I think a cool book would be if they had a team book that was Zatanna and Blue Devil and Detective Chimp, and it was them running like a mystical detective agency, and it would be equal parts action and humor and mysticism type of stuff, and
I tell you what, you draw it,
and
I'll
like
write it, and we'll submit it to DC.
and like some kind of noir stuff too. I think that would be a cool
It
book.
could be a great series. That could be
It
a
would
great,
only last like 8 issues because
yeah. It
unique
would be
stuff
a
doesn't
short run, yeah.
last. Some
No,
other girls I like Stargirl. Big fan of
okay.
Stargirl. And like I was telling when we did the Stargirl episode, I have to look, but outside of maybe a couple issues where she might have like popped up in the background here or there, I think I might have just about every appearance of the character because I
Nice.
got her full run of her series. I got the summer special. I got the Lost Kids or the Lost Children miniseries. I got all the issues of JSA and Justice Society.
Okay.
Think I've got when she was part of the Justice League in New 52. I don't know if I have all those issues. I have to pull the Justice League box out and look, but if I don't have all of them, I've got most of them. So, and I've got Young Justice. I think she was in that a couple times. So I'd have to, and I got a lot of the DC crossovers. So I'd have the same way Gary has all the appearances of the Legion. I
Yeah.
might have all of her appearances. Like,
That's
and if I don't have all of them, I'm very close.
Yeah. That's like it. That's like I'm so close with Catwoman for everything except Golden Age.
Yeah.
And the Golden Age ones, you mean, like, okay, I have a facsimile of one, and that's fine, but, to get 2, 3, 15, 11, I'm probably never going to, in my entire life, going to have the money to afford those.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite character is Captain America. I'm never going to have the money to buy his first appearance.
Exactly. So it's just, we're not rich people, and that's the price we pay. Rich people can afford to spend tens of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars on comics. We cannot. Okay, so we got your favorite character.
Black Cat's another character I like, and
Love Black Cat.
I'm really enjoying her current series.
Same. It's been really good.
I'll be honest, like I saw the covers when it was coming out, and I was like, whatever. The books are so expensive. I don't pick up as much new stuff as I would like. And then I bought that one cover, the very suggestive one with the Venom tongue, where they're standing there in the tongue, and then they both have that kind of look on their eye, and they're like,
was such a great issue too.
Like, I heard you guys talk about it last week, and you said it's not that suggestive. I think that cover is very suggestive. And then of course I didn't, I bought it just for the cover, and I read it, and I'm like, oh, this is good. So I went and picked up all the issues I had missed. I'm like, oh yeah, this series is a lot of fun.
It's really been entertaining. It's really been entertaining. I love the 2 issues that Daredevil was in with her, and they had the little flirtatious. Yeah, I thought that was great. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm glad because at first they were like, oh, it's going to be a 5-issue run, and then they were like, oh no, it's going to be a 10-issue run, and then they changed it to ongoing, so they must be selling enough of that to keep it going for a while.
And the last character I'll mention is Mystique. I think she's a really cool character. And when Vaughn had that Mystique series, which didn't run as it was a great run. It would have been good if it went longer. I think it went like 24 or so issues, but that was fantastic. And like Lisner was doing the covers, just where she was like a secret agent for Xavier.
Yeah.
But that's such a cool character because you never really know which side she's on. Like, she's really all about looking out for herself and Destiny, and everyone else. You never.
She and Destiny are in the current Rogue Shadows of Tomorrow, so that's been interesting. So she's a great character, and the potential with her is just infinite.
Yeah,
being able to turn into anybody,
And I like that they have kept her her origin mysterious.
Same.
I don't need to know her origin. I think they ruined a lot of stuff with Wolverine by giving away his origin and letting it be not that good.
Yeah, no, agreed completely.
For writers, I know. I think both both Sal and Gary mentioned about Gail
Gail
Simone.
Simone.
I
Yep.
like her. If for nothing else, then she wrote one of my all-time favorite series called Secret Six.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love that book. Would love to see it come back one day. Um, Louise Simonson, she wrote so much good stuff back in the day, like X Factor, and
Both of them have written Catwoman.
yeah, and she was,
Yeah.
even before she was writing, she was doing all, she worked like hand in hand with Chris Claremont, where she was, where he started New Mutants and then he handed it off to her, and she was
Yep.
doing X Factor, and she's so nice too when you meet her. She's
I've
such
heard she is. I've not met her, but I've heard she is just amazingly a nice person.
Oh, her and Walt are both just the nicest people. Ann Nesenti, another one, another writer from back in the day. She wrote some really kick-ass stuff, especially Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
And then a current writer I'm really digging is Stephanie Phillips.
Phillips, yes, she's one of my current favorites as
Yeah,
well.
she
Are
did
you
that.
reading her new Daredevil?
I'm going to, yeah. She did that series Grimm for Boom.
Yo, Grimm was so good.
I really
Red Before Black, which is still ongoing. I think it's like at issue 8 or 9 now, where this kind of like loner runs into an ex spy, and they meet in a diner and end up having to go on the run from these people trying to kill the ex spy. It's really entertaining. She's good.
Yeah, she was right. She wrote some backup stories in Detective Comics for a while.
Mm-hmm.
She's writing the Planet She-Hulk book now, which I really
Yes.
dig in. And yeah, she's taken over Daredevil. So
Yeah, she was. She wrote the newest Jean Grey, the Phoenix, that was out last year, right before she took over Daredevil.
yeah, so Daredevil is one of my favorite characters. I think that comes out this coming week. So
Yes.
I am excited for that. Actually, in 2 weeks, she's going to be at this shop in Annapolis doing autographs on
Oh, really?
on
Oh, I
April
wish I
4th.
did not live so far from Annapolis.
Yeah, on April 4th. So I'm going to try and go to that to get her to autograph a couple books.
Yeah.
And then for artists, I'll say it's important that I think you always got to mention, if you're talking about female comic artists, Ramona Fradon. She was,
yes. One of the first.
Yeah, one of the first. Very important back in the day. Did so much Aquaman stuff. Co-created Metamorpho.
Mm-hmm.
But for current artists, for me, probably the best female comic artist is Amanda Connor. I love her.
Her art is amazing.
I love her stuff, and yeah, she's obviously known a lot for Harley Quinn, but so much stuff to name. I especially love the run her and Palmiotti had on the book I got behind me on Power Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And again, both of them, like I've met both of them on numerous occasions. I've interviewed Jimmy a couple times for the Codex Station. The last time I interviewed him and her together, and they're both so just super nice. And if you read that book they did with Ennis the Pro,
mm-hmm.
Have you ever read that?
No, but it's on my list. Like I have a list of like 30 different series, most of which I've gotten from you guys on your recommended readings.
You got to put the Pro at the top of that list.
Okay.
That book is wild.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. So I'm adding it to the list.
So yeah, I love her. And then another artist, female artist I really like is Nicola Scott.
Oh, I love Nicola Scott's. I collected all of the covers that she did for the titles that I get. The Wonder Woman, the Catwoman, the Harley Quinn, the Poison Ivy, the Batman, where they were like in all of their iterations she was like, I think she was the Spotlight Artist of the month that month. And one of my favorite covers.
Yeah, she did it. Like I remember she did one for Nightwing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I really like her. I don't know what she's doing now. She recently did that series, the mini series, the was it
Yeah,
Cheshire and
yeah,
Peter
and
Rob the
PETA
Justice.
robbed the Justice League. Yeah, that was really good. So I don't know what she's doing after that. I haven't heard, but that just ended.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
just
and
a
that
couple
was
months ago.
really good. That was really good.
Yeah, that was a cool book.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, I think you have now made the record. I thought that Gary's show was going to be the longest. You have now made the record of our longest show. 2.5 hours, give or take a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
Um,
me and Gary both tend to kind of
I love it.
pontificate a lot.
I love it. I learned so much from you guys, and I can't thank you enough for joining me. I'm sorry Krysta wasn't here to take part, but she just killed it at GalaxyCon. Did you see her and John's video where they were Jay and Silent Bob, where they were doing the
No.
comics? Go look on Comic Logic's webpage on their Facebook and on their Instagram, and go look. So Krista's was Jay, and John was Silent Bob. Rob was off at the comic creator, comic store owners and distributors and all that show that he
Yeah.
went to a few weeks ago, and they were doing the weekly comic thing, and they pretended to be Jay and Silent Bob, and it was the most entertaining video to come out of Comic Logic in a bit. It was hilarious. And apparently Jay Muse was at this whole weekend has been at GalaxyCon in Richmond, and she got to meet him and showed him the video, and he thought it was hilarious, and he was super nice. Well, apparently today Kevin Smith showed up,
Oh
and
wow.
they did a panel with both of them, and she was able to show both of them the video, and they thought it was hilarious, which I told her, I've been telling them both, you guys should tag them on Instagram,
Yeah.
they'll love it, and so she got to do the panels, and she didn't have the money for the big photo autograph thing, and they were like, it doesn't matter, and apparently grabbed her into a big hug and
That's
did like
awesome.
a group selfie free of charge, and she looks like she had had the best weekend. I can't wait to see all of the pictures in the video, and next week I'm sure she will give us the rundown. But yeah, I appreciate you hanging out with me while she was not here, and I really hope we can have you again.
Oh yeah, whenever you want.
Learned a
We
lot,
can,
and always good things. And there's still things I want to ask you. Like, I don't want to keep us going too much later, but like I want to ask you what you thought of not Superman, Spider-Man's trailer and Sadie Sink. I know you guys mentioned that you think she's going to be Typhoid Mary. The images
I
I've
don't
seen,
think she'll be
she
Typhoid
looks
Mary.
like she's going to be Jean Grey.
I said I don't think she'll be Typhoid Mary
I
because
hope not
I don't think you're going to get someone
that big.
that's a young rising star like her and get her to play a villain that's going to be like in one movie. You're
And
going
get
to
killed
get
off.
her. You're going to get her someone that's young like her, where you can put her in movies for a decade. You're going to get her as a reoccurring character.
Yeah.
Plus, if the Netflix stuff is now canon, since we have Daredevil and they're bringing Jessica Jones back,
Yep.
Typhoid Mary was in the second season of Iron Fist. So we
Yes.
technically already have Typhoid Mary.
Exactly. And well, I've heard two different things. I've seen her but I don't know if it was AI generated. I've seen her in Jean Grey's like Phoenix, not Dark Phoenix, but Phoenix kind of costume.
That's
But then
probably
I've
right.
also heard that she might be Gwen Stacy. She might be the live version of Gwen Stacy. And I could actually see that, considering they kept showing MJ maybe having a new love interest and nobody knows who Peter is. I could maybe see them going that route, but she was not in the trailer.
She was in the trailer, but you saw her
Was
like from the back. Yeah,
Okay.
it's the scene like in his apartment where you see someone from the back like wearing a hood.
Yes. Okay. I do remember. I did not put it together that it was her. Okay.
I don't think she'll be Gwen Stacy because from what I've read, her character is someone that's like the government, whoever or whatever agency is after her, and she's kind of being protected by the Punisher.
Okay.
But I don't know for certain. None of us know.
None of us know.
That's the great
Exactly.
thing about these movies is, they are able to find a way to keep some of this stuff from being spoiled until they want it out there.
Exactly. And do you think, so last question of the night, do you think that uh Doomsday and the plans that they have for after that is going to bring Marvel's cinematic universe back to Endgame levels?
It depends on what they do with it because it's very popular to shit on stuff and be like, oh, it was good until this. You're like, you were good when you're younger, and this and that. And yeah, there's been some crappy stuff that's come out after Endgame. There's been some really good stuff too. The
There's been
Hawkeye
some
show was
excellent
good.
stuff.
The first 2 seasons of What If were good. The third season kind of sucked, but like Daredevil was fantastic.
Yes,
The last Spider-Man movie
was
was
good.
amazing.
Yes.
I loved the second Doctor Strange movie, the one that Sam Raimi did.
Yeah,
I
same,
love that movie.
same. And I really, WandaVision and
Oh,
then
that was
was
amazing.
just, oh,
Falcon
so
and
good.
Winter Soldier, I absolutely loved.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
I liked Secret Wars. They trashed Secret Wars. I actually liked it.
See, I didn't like that. I thought that was a big letdown.
I liked Echo. Hardly anybody liked Echo. I liked Echo.
Or not, or Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion, not Secret Wars, right?
Because they didn't have all the characters to use, so
yeah,
it really rolled. And then you're also left with the problem at the end that you now have this scroll that's like godlike level powers, and apparently it's just, well, we're just going to ignore that this character exists. So we'll see. People forget that there was some pretty crappy stuff that was made pre-Endgame too.
Absolutely.
Like what everybody likes.
The second Thor, the Dark World Thor, that bombed, and the one that Kevin Branagh directed, that bombed in the theaters.
Well, it's like with Star Wars, everybody likes to shit on it since DC took over, or since Disney took over. There's been some bad stuff, but there's been some amazingly really good stuff too. And let's not forget, George Lucas, gave us the prequels, which were universally reviled, really when they came out. Now people look at it
until 7, 8, and 9 came out, and then everybody was like, "Can we have George Lucas back, please?"
Yeah, they look at it in these rose-colored glasses, but let's not forget the made-for-TV Ewok movies.
Oh my god!
The Star Wars Christmas special.
Yeah.
The droids and Ewoks cartoon.
Let's not and I grew up on that.
Let's not. Me too. But let's not.
I used to have the LP that was the movie, just the soundtrack. And back then, the soundtrack was not just the music. In this case, it was the entire dialogue along with all of the music of the entire movie I had on LP.
Well, I'm excited that they're
when the movie came out. So
I'm excited that coming up soon they're theatrically re-releasing the original trilogy, how it was when they first came out in theaters before George Lucas started adding all kinds of stuff to it. So I'll definitely be going to those. But yeah, so a long way around that. We'll see. If from what I understand is that they're going to do Doomsday, and then they're going to do Secret Wars. And now they're talking about breaking Secret Wars maybe into 2 movies. We'll see. And then after that, they're going to kind of do a reset, which I think would be good, that they'll be able to bring in younger cast members for Captain America and Iron Man and some of these characters.
And redoing the
X-Men.
Yeah, because as much as I love the original cast, and I think it's great that they're bringing back Alan Cummings and Rebecca Rogen, and Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. Well, one, how are they dealing with the younger ones that they already gave us?
I don't think they're in it.
How are they going to deal with that, or are they going to ignore it?
I
Right?
think that they're just doing this as a way to like, hey, we're going to give a send off. We're going to give a proper send off and a proper ending for these characters, and then we're going to introduce,
A whole
we're
new,
going to introduce the new the
the
new
new
X-Men,
X-Men for the new generation.
and the next phase is, from what I understand, supposed to be very mutant centric, very
Okay.
X-Men heavy.
Well, I mean, Elizabeth Olsen has done one spoiler, which is where she was doing the little video where she's going, no more mutants. So they might do House of M.
We'll see. I think, it depends on how they do it. That's one of those storylines I feel like you would have to have a lot come before it before you did that for it to
Before
have
anybody, because nobody would understand what was going on. I have to agree with that as well.
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm looking forward to Doomsday. I'm excited for it.
same. I am. I'm excited for the new Spider-Man.
Oh,
I
me
did
too.
finally watch Fantastic Four, and I really enjoyed it.
I thought I was.
I mean,
I thought it was okay.
I wouldn't give it 5 stars, but it
I
was
think I rated it like 5 out of 10. 6. I think I rated it like 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I actually really liked the Jessica Alba, Chris Evans.
Oh yeah,
I
Ian
liked
Grufford
Ian,
and was
Julian McCann as Doctor Doom.
yeah.
I really like those two movies. I didn't like the remake that they did with Michael B. Jordan and
Oh yeah, that movie sucked.
it was awful. This one to me was not as good as those first two from the early 2000s. But it was much better than that one from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I liked the take on the characters. I liked the guy from Stranger Things. I liked his Johnny. I liked Vanessa Kirby's Sue. Actually, the only one I didn't like was the Star. I really think that Pedro could be used. He was not Reed Richards to me. He's never going to be Reed Richards for me. And I don't know why he just did not work in that character for me. But he was the only one that I really thought was miscast.
And see, I didn't like them casting him as Reed, and I thought that he did a decent job, though I wish he would have shaved the mustache.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe it was the mustache. I don't think he was terrible. I I just thought that what is it? Ian or
Ian Grufford. Yeah, he
yeah,
was a good
he was
Reed.
much better.
He was better.
Much better.
I don't know. I kind of wish they had just stuck with John Krasinski.
Yeah, no, from Multiverse of Madness, I agree. Yeah, he was really good as well. So, and heck, they gave us Austin Mounts Black Bolt in that.
Yeah.
And he played in the Inhuman show. That's who he played.
Yeah.
They had the chick from Captain Marvel was Miss Mar. Yeah, so I don't know.
And there was supposed to be one more in it. Do you know who that was?
Mm-mm.
It was supposed to be what's his name that played the last James Bond?
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. He was supposed to be in it as Balder the Brave.
Ooh, okay.
But when they were filming it was like all the COVID kind of stuff at the time, and he was somewhere else filming something, and they weren't able to make it happen to him for him to get there to be able to film it. But he was supposed to be the other character in that other chair there.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Good to know. That was my favorite out of the two Doctor Strange movies. The second one, the Multiverse.
Oh, I loved it.
I loved it. It was so good. Of course, I'll like anything that Scarlet Witch is in. And she was so good as the big bad in that movie.
Yeah.
So, all right, Dan, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you again for joining me. I loved having you. We have to do this again sometime. Thank you, Agasso, for streaming us live on you guys' channel. I appreciate all of the support. I will see you guys on Wednesday because I'll be watching Sunny's show. I try not to miss that. The only one I really miss is the Saturday night, only because it's hard for
Yeah,
me to
it is
go
pretty
that
late.
late.
It is.
But tell Gary I'll talk to him about this Saturday.
Okay.
Because I can, if I know I have to stay up, I usually can make it work.
All right.
So, all right, Dan, have a great night. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for
Everybody
having
out in
me.
the internet land, thank you for being here with our guest host, Dan Kelly. And we will see you guys next week for our comic review. And I'm not sure who our guest is going to be. Might be Mike Harbor. I have to double check that. But we will be announcing that on all of our channels. So give us a follow on Facebook, Loco Sirens, and here on YouTube as well. Otherwise, we will see you in the funny papers, folks. Good night.
You bye.